Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Marty here, and you're listening to episode 475 of Nintendo Dads. It is April the 18th, 2024. And on tonight's show, we're going to talk about the big Indie World Showcase this week, Nintendo making a key third party hire, and Nintendo has announced and confirmed that they're going to skip Gamescom 2024. What does it mean? We don't know, but all that and a lot more on tonight's show. Hey, Jesse, are you ready? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Nintendo Dads. It's episode 474. Joining us on the show tonight, of course, is Jesse Waldack over there hitting the ones and twos on the board. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I've been looking for those threes and fours, but they're just hiding for well.
Yeah, they don't really make good beats anyway. I don't know. Things going well? You had a good week?
Yeah. I had got all of the components for the electronic lab bench I want to build. I just have to still find a way to get rid of this couch and then build the desk and then put everything on it.
Cool.
So looking forward to getting all that done. What was that?
I said you can always set the couch on fire.
Yeah, but I kind of want to not burn my basement down.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just saying, if you want a quick fix, a book of matches will take care of it.
It'd be exciting. It'd be exciting,
yeah,
that's for sure.
Oh,
Someone also suggested a chainsaw, but I kind of don't want to have all that debris.
Saw it into bite-sized pieces to carry upstairs. Yeah, that would work. That voice you heard just a minute ago from the deep beyond is our special guest this week, joining us on the show from the Nintendo Pals podcast. Good friends of the show, Andros. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great, Marty. Thanks for inviting me to come back. It's been a while, but my ban has been lifted. They finally let me back on. Yeah, it's great.
You know what my favorite?
That's because Justin's not here to stop us.
Justin is the one. He's the one that banned you. He has a rule. No Andros. But my favorite thing that's happened in this episode already is that someone in our live chat sees you on screen and said, Tim forgot his hat.
He did, yeah. I do look like Tim with no hat. I am flattered to be compared to such a handsome guy.
You guys that are listening to audio only, you are missing the absolutely glorious Kirby button down that Andros is wearing as well. Man, it's stunning.
Gotta get my my nice Nintendo/dad shirt.
Sure,
it's a button down. It's got the dad flair.
It says, I like to have fun, but I also can be serious at the same time.
Yeah.
Business up front, party at the back, right?
And I am okay with wearing pink.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Hey, it's blue at the bottom.
Yeah, it fades down to
that. I like,
nice
see,
I didn't see the blue part.
I kind of like that contrasting colors anyway. That's why I have my LEDs set here too. Anyway, so
I look like
cool.
a true Florida man today. That's why I came as Florida man.
Yeah, I love it, and I hope you bring that Florida man energy for the entire show. We've got a lot to talk about tonight because there was a big presentation yesterday. We've got several games to go through, and so Jesse, you know what to do. Let's head straight to the news. And our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where you can get an ad-free version of the show for just $1 a month. That's right. Any of our Patreon tiers, whether it's the $1, the $5, the $10, or the $30, you get an ad-free version of the podcast, as well as other perks like access to our entire sub-channels, list of sub-channels in Discord, pre- and post-show audio, or the privilege and the honor to be a Patreon producer and come on the show. And we want to say a huge thanks to our newest patron, or friend of the show, as we like to say, Dylan Andrews. Thank you for joining up over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. You can be a Patreon hero like Dylan. Just head over there right now and listen. If you would like access to the Discord and you have a Twitch Amazon Prime membership, you can throw that Twitch Prime subscription our way too and get in that way. we would love to have you join the discussion over on the Nintendo Dads Discord. It's always a party, especially when you get to break all of Tim's rules. And that's why you're
Ditto.
banned from the show, Andros, because
Ditto. Yep. I
you broke
broke
one of
Tim's
Tim's
rules. That's why
rules.
he's not here either. I had to I had to keep him from coming on, just so I could get here.
One thing too, I do want to mention with our Patreon is that we do something free for folks every week. It's called the Nintendo Dads Weekly Update, and even if you're not a member of our Patreon, you can go over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and you can access those posts for free. It lets you see topics for the show. It lets you see our recent videos over on YouTube. We also provide a list of upcoming notable releases for that week and, like, I guess the following week to the show, including links to Deku deals where you can save some money. And there's also now something new we're doing is each week you will see who's going to be on the show. So if we have a guest, you'll see that they're going to be on the show. You'll see which one of the dads are going to be on the show. So just a little bit more information over there for you guys. You can check that out at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads for free, or you can join up and get ad-free episodes for just $1 a month. And if you join up for a year, we knock a month off at every tier. So it's like you pay for 11, you get 12. That's a great deal.
It's a good deal.
It's like you can't eat. Listen, if you go tomorrow to the donut shop and you want a dozen donuts, they're not going to charge you for 11. They're going to charge you for all 12.
It's true.
They don't give you a free yearly donut.
And there's an ad on it. It's not.
And there's
ad-free.
an ad, right? It's right there, right on. Actually, my local donut shops has a box that says "You deserve a donut." That's all it says.
That's pretty. That's
And
nice.
I do deserve a donut.
I do. We all
like,
do.
I would carry the box and I'll be
all
like,
do.
hey, anyway. So this week, Indie World was yesterday. 20 minutes or so of new indie releases, including some shadow drops that we'll talk about as well. But we've only gotten a third-party partner direct and a indie world in recent. Used to around this time we would get a real full-fledged Nintendo Direct. But this year we're holding off. I suspect for some reasons. Maybe we'll get into that in a little bit. But Andros, I would love to talk to you. You're our guest. We throw to our guest first. How did this presentation land with you? I'm looking right here. I think there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games shown off during this. So almost one game per minute. Of course, a lot of it came in the sizzle reel, or several came in the sizzle reel at the end. Yeah. But I would just love to know, just starting out, like, how did this land with you? Do you like the format? Do you like Indie World? Do you get excited about these now?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Indie
your
World.
Thoughts.
Yeah. I've always thought Indie World was a great presentation, and they always have quality games. I feel like they have less fluff than a regular Direct, even because like regular Direct, they like to throw in those like DC superhero girls, or like some games that are like third party that I'm not gonna be very excited about. But the indie games always look good. So this one around, I thought was I to be honest, nothing like jumped crazy out to me as like I need to get that day one. But there was a lot that was interesting to me, if that makes any sense. So yeah. I feel like I'm kind of coming at it with a lukewarm positivity. Like nothing crazy in here. Probably the one I'm most excited for is the Ninja Turtles, because I like Ninja Turtles, and it kind of looks Hades like, and I like Hades.
My favorite comment about that was, "Oh, Ninja Turtles are indie now."
Yeah, that's true. Wait a second. They were in the other indie showcase too with Shredder's Revenge, and it's just
it's a little weird that all turtle games are now kind of indie, right?
Yeah, that is a little weird.
I think it's a neat, like, if you think about it, it's neat considering that Turtles started as an indie project anyway in the comics. But I don't know. Yeah, that game has been out on iOS for a while on the Apple Arcade, I
Oh,
believe.
has it? I didn't know that.
So you
So
can play it right now
I'm
if
not an
you have Apple
Apple. I'm
Arcade,
not
or
an
it may not.
Yeah, I'm
It
not
may
an
not
Apple guy.
be. It may be just on Android too.
That wouldn't surprise me. It's not the first time they've done that. Like we get like Apple Arcade gets a bunch of games like exclusive, and then they come to Switch and pretend like it was brand new.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It looks to me like maybe it is on Android.
Oh, maybe I gotta go try it out.
So I mean, your mileage may vary. I'm looking at that on an iPhone, so it may be lying to me. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we want to get into specific games, but I've had
Yeah,
my eye on Animal Well for a while. I think that one will be really good.
it
Um,
looks. I love the aesthetic of that game. Looks really good.
and a couple pirate sequels. I thought that was kind of funny. I think
Yes, yeah.
Cat,
Pirates were a big theme, right?
yeah, Cat Quest Pirates and Steam World Pirates. So I was like, oh,
And I didn't notice it until Marty brought it up, but both are releasing the same day.
And both of them are about
coordinated.
the main characters in seafaring adventures. So it's a little weird that they're releasing the same day.
What? Yeah. How does that
Yeah,
happen? How does
I
that
don't know.
happen?
I don't know, Jesse. Or I'm sorry, Andros. Anything else stick out to you from this? Just really.
I gotta point out, and I gotta give credit here to Seth from All In and Carpool Gaming, pointed out that they started the indie showcase the way we start every Nintendo Pals episode, which is, "Hey, Micah, are you ready to talk?" And then Micah, the female developer behind Little Kitty Big City, was like, "Yep." And I was like, "Whoa!" That's
A
how we
nice
start
little,
every
yeah,
episode of our
nice
show. We
little
start that way.
Nintendo Pals
I
Easter egg
think,
there.
yeah, I think Nintendo needs to start giving us some royalties. Is kind of what I'm hearing here. We take early copies of Metroid Prime 4 as payment.
Is that all?
That's all.
That's all.
We
That's
don't
all
need
they need.
$1 million. We just need a Metroid Prime 4, please. That's it. Yeah, that's really those are the highlights for
Okay.
me. I like the whole thing. And the presentations all it feels quick, snappy.
It did.
I
It felt
almost
like here's this and here's this and here's this.
yeah, I almost wish they had this good of pacing in regular directs, you know? Like the team behind the indie showcases, I feel like is I don't know. It's probably the same team, but yeah, that I think they're less restrained by like you have to show this much of this game, and they can just kind of make it work for what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all
Jesse,
guess. I have no idea. I don't work at Nintendo.
Jesse, what about you? How did this land for you?
Like, yeah, normally there's like 2, maybe 3 games that catch my interest. This one had 4 or 5. So yeah, this one landed pretty good. Yeah, as we previously mentioned, Cat Quest 3, SteamWorld Heist 2, Stitch, which was a Shadow Drop, which I did pick up and play a bit, and I'll talk about that later. And see, Yars Rising, which caught my attention, being in the, I don't know if it's a sequel or what. I don't know how they're describing it. It's in it's in the same universe as Yars Revenge from the game. I think it was done in '82 on the Atari. Even had they showed the Yar sprite that you controlled in that game in there, and it was animated. And but the thing is, if that's being published by Atari, yeah, it's way forward. But still, is that indie? It's using
Yeah.
Atari
Is way forward indie?
IP.
I mean,
WayForward is the developer, yeah, but using an Atari IP, and I'm pretty sure Atari is publishing it. So that's a weird call there.
Yeah, to me, I feel like it's the lines are blurring more and more, right? Like Dave the Diver,
Yeah.
that was a big blurred line with indies. Then you've got this, but I mean, like, is who does? God, I'm just massive brain fart. Who does SteamWorld? Who are those guys?
The Image before?
Thunderful, Thunderful.
Thunderful. Yeah.
Are they indie anymore?
They used to be.
Yeah.
Don't know if
Yeah,
you'd consider them.
It's like, is Yacht Club indie anymore?
Yep.
I don't know.
I,
Yeah. Those are fine lines.
I think it's kind of like indie has become the word that you use to define anything that isn't like from like 6 or 7 publishers. What's an indie game? It's just an indie game.
I think it also kind of is like budget, right? It's like, okay, like in the case of like Dave the Diver, it had
Yeah,
backing from a huge studio, but it wasn't like $1 million game, you know. I
yeah. I mean, I could see that definitely. Um, I
but
just
yeah, it
think
is weird.
it's interesting, like to watch that kind of like with the TMNT thing, uh, with Thunderfall, with I don't know. I was wondering about because this is one of the games that I want to talk about for me. Like I'm like you, Andros. Like I look at this and I say, hey, this was a right fine presentation. It was wonderful, but it was at the same time it was more less like a gourmet hamburger and more like a hamburger steak for me. Like it's satisfying. It's the same thing, but it just wasn't like it didn't overwhelm me. Like I didn't go, oh wow, you know. There were a couple games that I did. I think caught my attention. Little Kitty Big City looks kind of like a spiritual successor to Untitled Goose Game,
Yeah, it's like Stray
which
meets
was
Goose Game.
one of my favorite games on the indie games on the Switch. It looks gorgeous. I thought the art style for that game was really good. I was going, wow, this. I mean, like it looks like I don't want to say a professional studio, but you know what I mean. Like it didn't look indie.
Right.
Europa is the same way. Like Europa was just gorgeous. But I haven't played the demo for that yet. I want to. Um, but the other game that really, two other games that really stuck out to me, Anton Blast looks incredible.
Does look
Looks
good.
so much fun. I know that's probably, I think it's already out on Steam. The people have already played this, so they could, say, hey, yeah, it is good. But just the whole concept of, wasn't there a WarioWare game or a Wario game where you had to make it to the end of the level and then run all the way back to was that Shake It?
I I don't remember. I've
It's
played a bit of it
like
back in the day, but I don't remember much about it. But
looking at it, it's definitely like a love letter to the Wario games, like
yeah,
the Wario
but
Land game.
when I saw this, a lot of people were hoping to see Pizza Tower, and then this is like we have Pizza Tower at home.
Yes, I was
It's
very much hoping to see Pizza Tower. And
it's almost the same game.
that's kind of why this is not like higher ranked for me, is that I really like, I don't know why, but I kind of got my hopes up for Pizza Tower. I was like, if it's coming to the Switch, it's gonna be now. It's gonna like, because can we all agree that this also kind of felt a little bit like, hey, we're winding these down for this system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, like I get it. Like there's some new games, but like Splintered Fate been out on Apple Arcade forever. Stitch has been out on Apple Arcade forever. A lot of the like Another Crab's Treasure's been out everywhere else for a while.
It
And I'm
has.
not.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I think it has maybe. I'm before I get actually,
Wait, well,
I'm
we're
gonna
looking
look
it up. Another game that we've heard of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes before. It was first brought up like around E3 of 2022, and then it was introduced again with the release date. And I remember that was a game that I had interest in, but I didn't remember why. And then when they're showing this trailer, I'm like, oh, that game looks interesting. It's got puzzles and stuff. And then I'm like, oh, it's Lorelei and Laser Eyes. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's on my list. So that comes out in a month.
So I was wrong, and I'll gladly admit that Another Crab's Treasure comes out everywhere or at least on Steam and Switch on the same day. It's April 25th. So it's next week.
It looks like Anton Blast is kind of similar from what I'm seeing in a quick Google search here, is that it's releasing everywhere November 12th of this year.
That's another thing that I kind of
I just looked at the Steam page, and yeah, that's not out yet.
Is, man, they really like, that's a far off release date.
Yeah.
Especially for them to have a demo of it right now. It's like, hey, it's April. Here's a demo. You can't play it for another 7 or 8 months. That's hard.
Well,
I know it's not 7 or 8 months, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, this game's been in development for a long time. I want to say this was a Kickstarter.
I'd heard about this game before.
Yeah, I'd seen it before. But
so
yeah,
I think Justin said he's played it at PAX.
Maybe that's where I've heard about it before. The other game that I wanted to mention, of course, you already mentioned Animal Well. It gave me Super Goner vibes. You remember that game that came out near the front of the release Nintendo Switch? It was out in 2017. Goner, Gonner. Just the art style. It's incredibly difficult, but I love it. I just love it. It's quirky. The other one that really stuck out for me, and I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about this game, was Refined Self, the personality test game.
Yeah, that does not sound like a game for me.
It's a cool concept. Unique.
It feels like one of those games that looks innocent on the surface, but then it has something nefarious buried in it. Does that make sense? Like Undertale feels like that to me. Like, oh, it's a game about friendship, or you can murder everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a more game to it than there is.
Well, when I saw that, it reminded me when I was doing my undergrad work. We had to take the Briggs Myers personality test and then write a paper about why we think or don't think what the result was mattered. And I kind of twisted the paper to the polar opposite meaning of this whole thing is garbage and here's why. And I got a good grade on that paper, by the way. So
just don't do the assignment. Just do it how you want to do it. That's exactly what we're learning.
When he was saying that, he was like, and then we did this, and I was like, and you had to take the personality test and write a paper on how shameful it is that you're an EJNFP or whatever.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the result was.
Be ashamed of your introverted status and write this paper. I don't know. There was something about it that just felt off. I don't know. It was, I don't know. It feels creepy to me.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you're able to get the results and you can share it with friends, but that it also encourages you to do it again, to play through it, answering the questions differently.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like,
that defeats the point.
Like
of sharing your results, because which one's really you?
Personality. Why don't you change it? That's what they're saying. They're like, change your personality.
Your personality is kindness. Now go try to unlock the sociopath route. Like,
yeah, and unlike Undertale, it's like real personality traits.
Justin's like, what do you mean try?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's just, it looks really weird. I know that we're going to talk about Stitch later on. I'm going to talk about Sticky Business later on because I picked that one up and have been playing it. So we'll save that for then. But If you guys had to give this, let's just say a grade A through on a grading scale, where would you put this one?
I give it a B plus. Again,
Okay.
a higher than normal number of games caught my attention. I did want to also throw out that the award for the game that with the most unfortunate release date is Duck Detective: The Secret Salami, releasing the same day as Thousand Year Door.
Oh, they got to move that.
Just move
They
it.
they, they got to move it.
Just push it
They
forward
got
a
to
week or back a couple of weeks. Come on.
right.
Don't try and compete that. Because this game that game does look pretty fun. I like it. It's silly. I'll give this direct a solid C plus. I don't think it
You're
was
being
bad.
harsh but fair.
Yeah, I don't think it was bad. I didn't think it was phenomenal. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Perfectly average.
Yeah, and I would say like B minus. I'll hover in that region because and what people need to remember, like when we do this, is not everything can be an A. Not everything is an A plus, and a B. B's aren't bad grades, right?
B's get degrees, man.
D's get degrees.
D's get degrees too.
That's what somebody told me when I went back to school to get my master's. They were like, "D's get degrees." Wow, setting the bar high for me, right?
Yeah, it's just ask those
Yeah,
old direct mini partner showcases.
yeah. We got a couple of folks in the chat giving it a grade here. And Friendo says he'd give it 23 banana peels. And Ms. 1K3 says I'll give it a D. Ooh. Okay. What? No. It's a valid. Hey, I would love to know.
It gets a degree. That's
yeah, he gets a degree. He gets a degree. So there you go. He can graduate. Said that like I almost sound like the guy from like what was the Forged in Fire? It will kill. You ever watch that show? It's like a bunch of guys in a warehouse making knives, and then at the end they like cut watermelons or pig carcasses with it, and they'll say it will kill. Right, my father-in-law loves that show. I love to watch it with him too. I wish I had a forge at my house. I don't know, I would make a Buster sword or something. Let's talk about a couple other
we do have a forge, but it's not big enough to do that type of metalworking.
What do you do with it?
He can make a little Buster sword.
My wife does jewelry making and stuff with.
Okay, that's cool.
Jesse throws just random lore out in every episode that you're just like,
yeah,
what?
He just said, it's like, yeah, we've got a forge.
Yeah, we have a forge.
Like, yeah, I've got
every episode. Jesse becomes a more and more interesting person.
She has a kiln. My daughter does stained glass work. So yeah, we have an interesting family.
So we have a kill room full of swords.
Well, we both have a set of bow and arrow. I've talked about archery before.
I love it. Yeah, no, you're yeah.
So you basically are like that room in Ocarina of Time that Link goes into where you make all the pots and then you can just smash them and then come back the next day and they're all there again.
Sure.
Get the kiln, throw out the pots. You craft your sword with the forge.
I don't know if the kiln we have is for pottery or for other, but we do. One of our friends who used to be the queen of our kingdom is a potter, and actually she'll take her wares to events and try to sell them. So like most of our mugs and stuff came from her.
I know, like I don't have a kiln or a forge or anything, but I do have a pour over coffee maker. I feel like that's on the same way as like I can craft coffees and brews. Yeah, I mean it's just awesome. Like I knew a guy when I was in high school. He had a forge, and he would like come over and be like, "Do you want to stick your hand in this bucket of sand, and then we'll pour molten metal in there after you pull it out, and we'll make a cast of your hand?" And I was like, as a 17-year-old guy, I was like, "Yes, I do. I want to do that." That was awesome. I used it as a candle holder for a long time.
Nick Frento says, I have an easy bake oven and a Snoopy slushy maker.
I love it. That's so good. It's so good. Hey, so a couple other little news items here we want to mention. Nintendo recently made a big hire for what they call their third-party profile management team. The news coming this week that they have hired Gio Corsi to become part of that team. This name may not be familiar with you, but one of the notable things about Gio is that he used to be on the he used to be employed by Sony Interactive Entertainment. So I think one of the things notable about that is look at the AAA catalog for PlayStation, and this man was helpful in those things. He helped this out, and to me, this just makes me wonder: are we gearing up for big third parties on Switch 2 or whatever's next? Because obviously, I think it's I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Switch is winding down. We've already kind of mentioned this. So why would you hire somebody that has been in this area to be on a third party profile management team and be like, hey, yeah, we want you to manage third parties for a system that's dying, like that we're doing away with in a year and a half, 2 years. I just think that it's interesting. I think it points to the fact that Nintendo's looking to beef up the third party catalog. He was also the head of commercial at Iron Galaxy Studios, chief product officer at Ilphonic, and his role at Sony Interactive was the head of global second party games. So he has definitely has experience in working with studios. Anything to throw out here before we move on? You want to comment on this?
I think this is good news. With his experience working with second and third party kind of marketing, that's good. We want more. We want as much to come to Switch as possible.
Yeah.
It's like
I'd like this.
I like that we're gearing up for it early, like
Yeah.
even if we don't know there's a new like we know there's a new console coming, but
But is
that
it
hasn't been
early?
announced.
Is it early, or are they already like knee deep in what they know is coming out the first 2 years?
Yeah, you're right. That stuff all goes like way in advance.
Now, I mean, third party gets are that can happen at any time. I mean, Nintendo's 2 years in probably at this point. But you're trying to get. He did tweet this week a picture of him and his dad wearing a Mario and Luigi hat.
Yeah, it was a good
And he
picture.
said, I've joined the Nintendo America AAA third party portfolio management crew to help great teams bring their amazing games to this legendary platform. So, like, he is like, that's his whole role is seeking out how do we get AAA games on Nintendo consoles. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
If he can pull it off, great. I'm all excited for it. It's, Nintendo doesn't have the best track record of this sort of thing. E3 2011 Wii U announcement, big wall full of third parties looking forward to making games for this thing, of which.
Yeah. So a comment on this article where I found this at My Nintendo News said that Geo is the reason why Yakuza became such a huge hit here in the West. He's also why the Vita got support after Sony completely abandoned it from first party games. And he kept pumping, it says he kept pumping indies and a ton of Japanese ports into it to not let it die worse than it did. So he has a track record of success.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything but a positive hire here for Nintendo. It's a good move for them.
What third party game do you want him to get? Let's put our requests out right now.
Oh gosh.
I want Baldur's Gate 3 on Switch 2.
Okay.
That's what I want.
I hear you. You know what I want on Switch 2? Star Wars Outlaws.
Good. Yes.
I'm trying to think of a game. Maybe that Korean game that's coming out on PlayStation next week. I forget. I can't remember the name, but there's a whole bunch. The Western journalists are all going ape crap about the main character of this game. Tim's looking forward to this game. But but
I'm
this is
frantically
escaping me.
Googling on the
Stellar
side here.
Blade?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying? Stellar Blade?
Yeah.
Oh, the porn game. The scantily clad game.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take that. Sure.
I don't know about that.
Have you not heard about this?
I haven't heard about this.
Okay, so there's like a whole like costume you can download where
What's the
it's
game
just
called?
like
I'm
Stellar
not
Blade.
looking. I'm not
Stellar
looking it up
Blade.
here on the side.
Yeah.
Blade.
It's like there's a whole
Incognito.
costume you can download. It's just like her in a thong and a barely there bra.
What
Yeah,
is the
and
game? Is it a fighting game?
it's like an adventure game.
It's real-time third-person combat. Like, the game was first shown, and journalists are like, "Well, this character doesn't look like a real woman." I'm like, "Okay, I'll hold my beer." Korea says, and they said, "Yeah, the model is based off of a real Korean model, like 3D scanned and brought in." And then another journalist is saying, "Well, they changed the face. What's wrong with the face? If the rest of the body's fine, why can't they do the face right?" And I'm like, "Well, have you seen what they did with Outlaws? That doesn't look anything like
Have you seen
the
what
actress."
they did? Have you guys seen what they did to Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
It's already up. It's horrible.
Mine hasn't been updated yet, but when it does, I'm going to hate it, and it might be the third boot that finally drops that make me stop playing the game.
Oh man,
because I'm like,
don't know how
does Sweet Baby Ink have anything to do with Niantic now? Because holy crap!
Hold it up. I'm like dumbfounded at how can you add more character customization to a game and make it worse? How does that work? I just don't understand. I mean, it's not the most egregious thing in the world, but it's so funny to me that
it's close. It is close.
They made their characters look worse. Like that just. Thank you, Niantic.
Miz says, "OMG, I am a big fat guy in Pogo now."
Oh yeah, I forgot you can make. I made myself a stick skinny dude. I was.
Oh, so now weight you can like.
Oh yeah, you can make yourself huge, and you can make yourself really muscular.
I'm gonna be honest with you that like most sliders in games that make you large, they don't get. I've never been able to create myself in a game. Like I made myself in a wrestling game this past year, and it looked like I did when I was in junior high. Or I'm like, that's me when I was 13.
Well, my second account, I chose a female avatar just because I thought the females that they used the models in the game were cute. I liked them, and so my alt account, I picked one, and then I'm afraid to see what it's going to look like once I finally get that update.
Milk toast is what it's going to look like. They take all the characters and they lose all character and personality. They're just like these like round like like generic looking. It's so
just
bad.
what is they're just Sukapon. It's just different colors of Sukapon. Here's a little follow-up to Nintendo's hire. And we talked about Nintendo being a little maybe 2 years into the game on whatever's coming next. Nintendo has confirmed that it will skip Gamescom this year. Infamously, if you remember last year, Gamescom 2023, multiple sources came out of Gamescom saying Nintendo is showing the new Switch to people behind the scenes. We've been behind closed doors. We've seen they're doing tech demos and they're doing this and they're doing that. And so Nintendo this year just said, well, screw that. We're not giving anything. We're not giving anything. I just want to know, what do you guys think? Is this a good move or a bad move? Because Gamescom has become huge, especially in the wake of E3 not being around.
Well, it's always been bigger than E3.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think there's more emphasis on it from the West now that we don't have E3.
That's true. This is done in Germany, right?
Yes. So is it good for Nintendo to skip this? Is it bad?
I think it's bad.
What?
I am just gonna come out of the gate and say I'm not a fan of Nintendo basically killing events, because as much as they can do their own thing, what have you, they are one of the major pillars in the gaming community, and when they pull out of an event, that is the beginning of the end for that event and its publicity and success. And I don't like that. I think Nintendo should be doing good for the community as a whole, not just for themselves. If that makes any sense. Not that they don't, not that they have to, but I think it's a good thing when they do. You know, when they left E3, that was like, all right, E3's going down from here. Like that. Yeah.
You know, as someone who knows more about the business side of things, I can understand the decision. It's expensive as hell to bring out a team to do it. I don't know what it costs to actually buy rent or booth space, but you know, flights, hotels, bring all the gear that's got to be shipped. That's pricey.
Yeah.
But this tells me that they've got nothing to show, because, which, no surprise there, we are expecting a new system to come out. This is also telling me they're probably not expecting to announce it before August, because if they were, they could show it to the public at this event.
Yeah.
So
you're right. You're so right, Jesse. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, we're not going to hear about this until September now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Which, if this is going to be a March 2025 release, a September announcement sounds like perfect timing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if memory serves, Nintendo usually does a large presentation of some kind in and around September.
Yep.
So this year it would possibly be not a direct per se, but a reveal of what's coming.
Do you think they do that right before the holidays? If it wasn't coming out in the holidays?
Well, they did when Switch was released, right? Or revealed.
I think they might do a similar schedule with this as they did in 2017 or 2016. It's not going to be like the big drop, but just here it is. Here's a quick teaser.
So, and then in January,
we had the Karen rooftop party in October, and something similar to that. And then in January is the big reveal. I don't think they'll do the big reveal until after the holidays.
I feel like they got to bring Karen back for this one, right? Like maybe show like it's been 7 years. Now Karen's like living in a suburban home. She has a husband, some kids. They're playing on the Switch too, you know, chill night, pizza, Cokes. You know, it's not a rooftop party anymore. Now it's family time with Nintendo Switch 2.
I like it. That's great marketing right there.
So they take it out and they're playing Mario Kart 9 in the van as they I don't know. Anyway, that's probably a dumb idea. But I'm like you though. I want to say I will say this. I want to sit in the middle. I think that there's good to this. I also think there's bad to this. The good being that, you know, stuff doesn't get leaked. The bad being that they are kind of saying we don't have anything, right? And that kind of lets you know this is going to be a slow year. This is going to be a lull year before they ramp up for the next thing. And I do think that it kind of looks like the I'm taking my ball and going home mentality, you know, like at least like go over there. When is Gamescom, by the way? Is it June?
August 21 through 25.
So August, like at least, man, go over there and show off the Wind Waker HD port to Switch. that they're the
Seriously.
song that they're going to close
I mean,
out
yeah,
with.
Jesse was talking about they don't have enough money. I'm like, oh, just re-release a Zelda game and boom, you got enough money
Oh
to
yeah,
fund a team over to
it does take.
Gamescom.
I mean, I
didn't say
imagine
they
it's
didn't. I didn't say they didn't have enough money. They have a crap ton of money. They're just trying to not spend money they don't need to
they
spend.
don't
Right,
want
right.
to. They
Yeah.
don't want to spend money, right?
Yeah, no,
It
they're sitting
has to
on they're sitting
be.
on a lot now.
It
We're
has to be
not this isn't
astronomical to
yeah.
send someone from America to Germany for a week with all that set up.
Yeah.
Pay for help there, get all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I've never organized something like that.
Your
Nintendo,
friendo
Uh,
says,
I'll do it
Karen.
for free. I'll do it for free, Nintendo. Hire me. I'll
Your
create
friendo says
games.
Karen is a depressed middle-aged single mom that lives in a trailer.
I-
ouch.
That's a way to sell a system.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Jesse
Too
Jin and
many
Johnny Jane, you get in there and play this Nintendo Switch too. Mama needs some me time.
too many rooftop parties in her youth led to a led to a life of sorrow and regret.
Oh, hey, so that's our
Oh,
news. We would do a couple of release updates, things I wanted to make mention of right here as we close out the news. That the entire, if you are new, like if SteamWorld Heist 2 caught your eye during the Indie World Direct, and you're new to the SteamWorld franchise, you are in luck, friend, because almost the entire SteamWorld catalog is on sale right now for less than $5 a game. And if you've
Nice.
never played these, you owe it to yourself to pick up some of these titles and play them. Just some prices and things for you right now. SteamWorld Dig is at $199. It's the lowest price it's ever been offered at. All these are Nintendo eShop US prices, by the way. SteamWorld Heist Ultimate Edition, which means all the DLC included, $199, the lowest price it's ever been offered at. SteamWorld Dig 2 is at $399. SteamWorld Quest, The Hand of Gilgamesh, is $499, and SteamWorld Build, which is relatively new, but it's also on sale. It's at its lowest price ever, $20.99. So if you've never played any of these games, it's a great time to pick them up and try it. SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2 are kind of like, let's just say like platformers.
They're Metroidvania, but where
yeah.
you've got to actually dig the paths down.
Yep.
Yourself.
And
Yeah, I'd say
is more of like a strategy shooting like game.
yeah, yeah. Think like Fire Emblem, but they're played on 2D fields, but it's instead of like if you're looking at a Fire Emblem, you're on a big battlegrounds. You have a depth. You don't have height. You have width and depth, but
yeah.
Heist is you have length and depth. You have height, not depth. So it's still 2D, but it's different 2D that you're used to. I'm not a fan of the strategy games mostly, but I did like Heist. I think Dig 2 and Heist are probably the two best games. Quest, I like Quest as well, though Quest is more middling. A lot of people didn't like it just because it's an RPG that's card-based battler. I'm okay with it.
I liked it, but
not everyone is.
I've never been able to finish it. I got farther in it last time, my second attempt at getting through it, but I want to finish it.
I think other than Build and the original DSi game, I have finished every SteamWorld game that has been released.
I've not played Build yet. Tim says it's good though.
Yeah, I tried the demo and I made mistakes in my build. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this again.
You can go check that out right now. Andros, you had a word?
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't actually played much of any of the SteamWorld games other than just a little bit, but my wife has completed SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2. She actually did those backwards. She did 2 first and then went back and played 1. And so it's a great world and they're well-made games. Very well-made games.
Okay. So a couple other little announcement I wanted to make too, as demos are available for Europa, Cat Quest 3, and Anton Blast right now on the Nintendo eShop, so you can check those out as well. Those dropped, and Stitch and Sticky Business were your shadow drops for the indie world as well. So all that's available right now. And we'll have some videos up on some of those games on our channel very, very soon. So that's our news. Let's take a quick break for an ad from our good friends over at Manscaped. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Did you know one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer among men aged 15 to 35. With April being National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, our friends over at Manscaped have partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. You can visit manscaped.com/TCS to learn how to check yourself for early signs of cancer. And as always, you can use the promo code NINDADS, that's NINDADS, for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. In addition to providing the right tools and solutions for comfortable and easy grooming, Manscaped is committed to raising awareness and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer. And that's why they will be donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society. Help save lives and balls by going over to manscaped.com/TCS and sharing their funny, educational check yourself video. And while you're at it, grab 20% off and free shipping with the code NINDADS. Again, NINDADS. Because like a famous American philosopher once said, take care of your chicken, your balls, and your mentals. Back to you guys. All right, it's time for our question of the week. And here it is. The new Transformers 1 trailer dropped today, and the movie looks goodish, I guess. Now, we all know that my favorite childhood toy was Transformers. My favorite adulthood toy is also Transformers, ironically. So I wanted to ask you guys, what was your favorite childhood toy? And we'll start with us. Andros, you look like you got an answer. What's your favorite childhood toy?
So besides my Super Nintendo, just when I
Yeah?
grew
Okay.
up playing the Super Nintendo. I am going to go with the Fisher Price. Golly, I gotta remember what they're called. Fisher Price Castle and Pirates. They're okay. The series is called the Fisher Price Great Adventures. And,
okay, I'm looking this up.
These are like they're little squatty guys. That's what we called them. They would they would all stand like this, and you could put them onto like ships and things. We had the pirate one, we had the castle one, we had the Robin Hood one, and we played so much with these things when I was a little kid. Like, and then these toys kind of like these sets evolved into when we got our like action figures like Ninja Turtles and superhero stuff. We would
so
play
these
with
kind of
those.
remind me of, like, I'm looking at pictures of them right now. Like a modern equivalent would be like kids in the recent memory have had like Batman, like DC superheroes. Or
It's
Marvel, they're little squat little action figures.
yeah. It's
They have like hip
they're
articulation and arms.
Kind of like
And
Chibi.
they drive cars, and there's like a big Batman like play set. And
yep.
yeah, I think, and then like
they had Star Wars as well
they did Star Wars
for a bit. So I think
they even had
kind of
Transformers.
evolved. Yeah, they evolved into being like, okay, now we're in name brand IPs. Now, these oftentimes would come with a video game. And you would get Great Adventures PC game here on the side. So it would be like a PC game that you would get to play that had the characters from the set that you got. And I
hey, look, you're saying that.
So it's like Proto Skylanders?
Fisher Price Great Adventures Castle CD-ROM.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is, hey, you know what? If you're needing a quick nostalgia hit, this is on eBay. $45.
Yeah, I'm sure this has to exist somewhere online that I could like
Windows, Mac,
download and play.
CD-ROM.
'Cause
I'm sure.
I don't even have a disk drive on my PC anymore.
Right. Right. I was trying to see what the year for this was.
Oh shoot.
It doesn't even have.
95.
Oh
95.
my gosh. How old were you in 95?
I was like 2, 3.
Boy.
I
Yeah,
was 15.
You're 15.
Yeah.
Listen, hey,
Y'all don't want to know how old I was at 95.
42.
Not that far off, but
Oh, I'm just kidding you, Jesse.
half that.
Okay. So those were yours.
were you a dad? Would your kids have been playing this, Jesse? Because
Maybe, but I wasn't my oldest was born in 99. So
you're
probably
not quite old enough to be mine.
Yeah, they needed to be maybe 10 years younger to maybe qualify for that.
Yeah, it's funny. I should throw out here. I didn't even throw this out in the beginning. Qualifier here. I am a dad. I am a happy father of 3. So that's why they bring me back onto this show.
Yeah.
I like Nintendo and I'm a dad.
Is that why your hair?
So, yeah. So last time I was on the show, I had a full head of hair. Well, full head being top of my head and no beard.
Mm-hmm.
I shaved my head like a week and a half ago just to try it out. I've never tried it.
Just wanted to see what it was like.
I went completely bald, y'all. Like razor down, smooth head. It was weird. So now it'll come back. I'm still young.
Did the wife and kids like it, or do a never do that again?
My wife likes the hair better, but she did the haircut, so
okay.
So she consented to it. She was okay with it.
Like 2017 or 2018, I shaved for the first time in forever. So it was like the first time my wife and kids saw me without a beard, and the youngest said, "Never do that again."
Put it back. Put it back.
those were funny. Her exact words.
Yeah. Anywho, I didn't mean to sidetrack us here. So
no, that's fine.
This toy is like my childhood. These sets of toys. We played with our squatty pirates versus knights versus cowboys. Yeah.
Okay,
Jesse, I'm going to throw it over to you. Your favorite? So
I couldn't think of just one. I have a few, but probably the earliest would be like I had a lot. I didn't have all of them, but I had a lot of the Masters of the Universe action figures. So the He-Man, a lot of the villains. I had the Castle Grayskull. I remember we took a picture of this. I had Castle Grayskull, mouth was open. My cat was just sitting in there like, this is where I belong now. And that was like the best picture in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then so few years later, Transformers, Soundwave and Ravage, I think were my 2 favorite. And then a few years after that, I started getting into computers. So I had this Tandy Color Computer 2 was my favorite machine to use. I had a few small other machines, but that was...
Of course, Jesse's favorite toy as a kid would just be a computer. Like,
yeah.
Of course. It makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I've grown up around computers.
Okay. I like it. So I grew up, and I mean, you guys heard I was 15 in 95. So I grew up in what is arguably, I would say inarguably, the best decade of all time, which was the 80s.
Yeah, the 80s. The 80s was an explosion for kids' entertainment.
Absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
Sure.
And that's why it was the best. So, like, I think, like in my formative years, like from birth to 10 years old, we had He-Man, Transformers, GoBots, Thundercats.
Yeah, Joe.
Nintendo, G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Micro Machines, Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Silverhawks. I mean, all these obscure things that a lot of people have never probably even thought of or heard of.
Well,
And it was
a lot of those
so
was still around in the 60s and 70s, but they had a resurgence in the 80s.
well, some of them did. I mean, there were no
Yeah,
Transformers around in the 60s, 70s, but that was the one
right.
that if I
G.I. Joe was.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, the when Hasbro decided to make the miniature, I guess now what we think of as the standard size Joe, you know, the one that 80s cartoon was based off of.
You might say
That
the
was when
average Joe.
the average Joe. I like it. Yeah. They
Sorry.
That's when it exploded again and got huge. But for me, the pinnacle was Transformers, and it always will be. I mean,
In
I
front,
will say
Infrendo says Voltron. Add that to the list.
Voltron,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I had all the lions and could build
Y'all, I'm telling you, I had the lead paint Voltron and had to send it in. Like they're like, well, you have to, it's a mandatory recall. And I'm like, well, what if I don't send it in? What would you, I wish I had it now, but I still in my office, today, I have the actual plastic Voltron that they brought out years later that came with the sword, the shield, and the 5 pilots. I wish I still had the pilots, but I have the actual lions, and they are the form of Voltron standing on the shelf in my office. I love that toy. But here's the thing, y'all. Like Transformers were the pinnacle for me. For Optimus Prime was like a father figure to me. I to this day, G1 Transformers. I know some people are like, you can't go back and rewatch those old shows. I that's comfort for me, right? It's like Mega Man 2 and Super Mario 3. It's comfort entertainment. Those like hearing Peter Cullen, the Prime voice, is I at one time, and I say this like I don't have these anymore, okay? But at one time I owned the entire Generation 1 Transformers line that was released in America.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
As an adult. And they were like, I had most of their accessories. It was workable versions. Some of them had some wear, but I mean, a lot of it was stuff that I had bought back or whatever. But it was, at one time, I had my collection at the time that I chose to start selling it, which was 2008 ish, 2007, 2008. It was over 1,200 pieces. I had an entire room in my house that was just shelves of Transformers. And it was a little obsessive. It was controlling to a point. And so I knew that it was one of those things where I had to it's that or I'm gonna find myself later on in life like in a house full of Transformers with no one but me there. Right. So I made a decision to sell those, and we paid off some debt, and we bought our first HD TV. We thought it was huge, 42 inches. It was like $1,000. And a couch. We bought a couch. So and all of those things were wonderful. It's great. It's great. And I still collect Transformers from time to time. I'm very selective, still collect, but I want those old, the old characters. That was my childhood, was Transformers. Like there's pictures of me with Transformers. As a kid. I saw the original G1 movie in the theaters when it came. Cried. Optimus Prime died. I sobbed. It was just anyway. That's my thing. I'm going to read through some answers from our community. Mecca says, I don't have one unless you count my old PS1. Okay.
Sure.
Mecca, he sounds like he grew up in too late of a time period to enjoy the prime of the 80s and 90s.
Well, now today's kids are like, what's your favorite toy? It's my iPad. It's my iPad. I was born with this iPad.
I don't even know.
Crafted into my hand.
My kids would say, like, "Oh, what's your favorite toy?"
Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
Monday night, I went out and played poker again, and we had a conversation about shuffling. when we learned how to shuffle and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, I learned when I was like 3. Like I grew up with a deck of cards in my hands. So yeah, I used that. I used that sentence the other night, non-ironically.
Yeah.
I've been playing cards for a long time. Yeah, speaking of cards, Marty, you're talking through the Transformers reminded me of a toy during my more formative years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what I would consider to be a craze is Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
The very first Pokemon, which is like the trading card game hits, the video game hits, the TV show hits. I mean, it
The
was
movie hits.
the movie hits. Yeah, I went and saw that movie in theaters with my parents. Which,
Fun
holy
fact,
cow, my parents are saints for going to that movie. Have you guys seen it? I've
yes,
seen it
I owned it on
since.
VHS.
Yeah, I've seen it since. I watched it. I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense to anybody not that hasn't seen the show.
My
I think my favorite part is they throw in a Minnesota Vikings joke in there.
Oh, so good, so good.
my
That's classic Pokemon.
That I'm sure wasn't there in the Japanese version. That's something that the localizers that threw in.
Localization for original Pokemon was fantastic.
my wife worked at the theater when that movie came out. So she was like a manager of the theater, and she had to be in charge of giving out the cards.
Oh, nice.
You know, it was the whole thing. Go buy a ticket to the Pokemon movie or go see the Pokemon movie in theaters, and you'll get a real Mew card. Remember?
Yeah.
And she said there were literally people who would come in and be like, one ticket for Pokemon, and then they would be like, where's our card? Give me my card, you know, and then they would turn around and walk out. They wouldn't even go in the theater.
I'm not surprised.
They would just pay. I was like, did you run out of those cards? And she's like, oh, so fast.
Yeah.
Like, so fast. Because back then,
those people never went away either. I mean,
the guys, the resellers are coming in and buying, you know, a movie ticket like every day and getting a Mew card.
Yeah. It's like for sure. Like Pokemon was such a huge thing. I had the Ash Ketchum hat as a kid. I had this big T-shirt with Ash Ketchum and Pikachu on it. It was all the rage, and I was like maybe a little too young to really like. I wasn't 15, right? Like you know, I was right at the precipice there because I would have been like 6 or 7 years old, and all of the kids around me, like the older kids, were really into it, and so you kind of become into it, going like, oh, these are what the cool kids are doing. This is what the older kids are. And then I just never stopped. I'm still playing Pokemon to this day.
Same here.
Look, love what you love, right? I mean, enjoy it. Have a hobby.
You don't need to grow up.
No, grown up.
That a rule.
As Mr. T would say, grown ups for fools.
Yeah.
Pity the fool who
grows up.
Pity the fool. Here's a couple more answers to our community. Victorus GX says, besides my game systems, I'd have to call out my TMNT figures and play sets. Hard to believe one of my favorite franchises is only 1 year younger than I am. Good grief, I'm old. You know what I was extremely jealous of is I had a friend a few years ago who revealed to me that he had 2 toys growing up that I did not have that I always wanted. Number one was G2, Generation 2, because, you know, they have Generation 1 Transformers, and then they came back with Generation 2, which was a lot of the older Transformers recolored in hideous 90s neon colors and decos. Like, it was bad. You need to go look it up if you've never seen it. And one of those was a brand new, because they, like, you know, there was a big controversy about Megatron being a gun, because there was a kid like in the Chicago area or somewhere that got shot because he was pointing Megatron at police officers and they thought it was a real gun, because literally it was a 1:1 scale Walther P38 pistol. And he was like silhouetted against the sun. So they're like, the kid's got a real gun. So they shot him.
That's a real thing that happened?
Yes, it's a real thing. That's why Megatron can't be a gun anymore. Is because toy guns, just by and large, have been outlawed except for Nerf guns, like realistic toy guns. The second, but so the G2 Megatron was a brand new Megatron, like it was a brand new toy. It was a tank, but it was green and purple. It's green and purple
Yeah, man.
camouflage with
This
orange stickers.
this looks like a Batman villain. Like
Yes, it does.
this is bad.
And so he had G2 Megatron, which, by the way, I just found somebody selling like a month or two ago in my local area for $15. And I was like, I will buy this. And and now it's in my office. First time I've ever had G2 Megatron. The other thing that he had, and this one's for you, Victorious, he had the turtle blimp. And I don't know if you know, like, if you weren't around, the turtle blimp was the pinnacle vehicle for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. A giant inflatable, like beach ball esque thing with a thing that hung on the bottom of it. The turtles could all ride it. You know, it's really hard to find them now because, like, a lot of kids just they played with it so rough and it burst the blimp part.
Yeah.
He had that. And he brought it out one day. He's like, I just wanted to show you this. It's a turtle blimp. I was, you freaking turtle blimp. It was like in pristine condition. Blew it up and everything. I always wanted the turtle blimp. I always also wanted the Technodrome, but I didn't get that or sooner or later. I just had turtle toy. I had the van. I had the turtle van, and my parents made me take all of the turtle figures and put them in the turtle van to store them. So
I also had the turtle van, but I had this is the 2000 TMNT toys. That was my generation of Ninja Turtle toys.
Yeah.
So like
that was the one that was on Fox.
Yep. I love that show. That show holds up
yeah.
too.
So that turtle van eventually went on to become something my kids played with when they were there, and they put Mickey Mouse Clubhouse stickers all over it.
Oh,
it's the Clubhouse van.
yeah.
Hop on in, Donatello. We're going to Disney World. Yeah.
No longer the party wagon.
Come inside, we'll kick your shell. Yeah. I don't know. It's so it was like they broke the top off of it and everything. But I mean, I don't need them anymore. You know what's weird about He-Man figures and turtles? Like, they had like the rubber head,
Yeah.
A lot of them had the rubber head, or they had like rubberized parts on them. And we had an attic at our house, and it wasn't ventilated or anything, so it got hot. And some of them melted, and like they got they got like all sticky and everything. So I was like, oh man, I found my He-Man figures. I'm pulling them out, and they're like, ugh, what is this? Ugh, I don't know. It was
like all the bodies were all the same mold, just maybe different color.
Yeah,
but they were all the same mold.
Man, all of them are
maybe with different arms and different head.
If you go look at the old He-Man figures, it's like this muscular top where like they could never reach their belt region, and the legs are like bow-legged, like they're like squatted over, like they're going, like they're a permanent pose. And the Shredder figure from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line is you cannot stand it up. There's no way that figure can stand up. Go find it, and it's like he needs a chiropractor real bad. Anyway, Shannon Eno says, hard to pick just one. I'll have to go with my collection of mostly used action figures from garage sales. I'd have epic battles between Star Wars, Marvel, and DC heroes and villains. Somewhere buried in my childhood sandbox lies at least 2 Batman, a Green Lantern, an Iron Man, and an R2-D2. Fortunately, I still have a bin full of others that survived. Man, all that was buried in my sandbox growing up was cat turds. I mean,
that's so true. We had the same problem. Like outdoor
like
cats.
We had out, yeah. I like go in the backyard and be like, "Why is the sandbox so lumpy?" And my mom's like, "Oh, don't get in there. We gotta rake it out." Shy Guy says it's a tough one. Probably Lego, followed closely by Micro Machines. I love those stupid little cars. God, I love me some Micro Machines as a kid. So good. I had some of those like early Micro Machines play sets too. Like that, I very distinctly remember there was one that turned into a gas can. like the sides folded up, but like when you folded them down, it was like a whole scene in there. It had like a little bridge that it could drive across. And what I would always do with my micro machines though was I'd fold out all the play sets and then the Transformers would come. And it's like it's to scale, you know, like like in the cartoon, the Transformers, they tower over the buildings. And so this was like where my Transformers fought each other was on the Micro Machines playset.
Makes sense.
Zablanc says, Garbage Pail Kids. I collected cards starting in season 2. I used to help my friend at his father's pizza shop from time to time, and a few doors down was a card shop. I bought lots of Series 2 packs and kicked myself today I didn't buy any more Series 1. Then after they kind of went defunct, I went years not thinking about them. Several years ago, I started collecting again, and when I bought some guy's collection, I collected the figurines and loved seeing the new special sets that came out. I don't buy them too expensive, too frequent, but if I come by Garbage Pail Kids in a store, I stop to look and amass.
Poetic.
I remember, Garbage Pail Kids back in the day.
Yeah, I remember they were pretty popular in my elementary school, and
I think
I did not partake in that one.
I think they got banned at my school.
We probably did too. I don't remember.
Yeah. Wow. That's a memory from the vault. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, this would have been this. I think this would have been pretty late in my elementary, so like 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah. Well, guys, good interaction, good stuff, good reminiscing. Let's talk a little bit about what we've been playing, shall we? Andros, we're going to throw it over to you, buddy. What you been playing lately?
Oh man, I've been playing a lot of games. First and foremost, I run my own YouTube channel, Andros1, and stream there as well. And I primarily do Tears of the Kingdom challenge content. So like right now I'm working on a video where I backflipped from one end of the map to the other. In Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
So I got that. I've been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, just doing like random goofy stuff in that. I collected a bunch of Koroks and threw them into the river to see which one would win, floating all the way down the river. So having fun just messing around in that game. There you go. There you go. That's the alert that plays on my stream. So I was so confused for a second. Like, we're getting raided. Oh boy.
Nice.
I've been playing Vampire Survivors. All the Among Us DLC for that.
Among Us is in the game? Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a bunch of unlockables for that. And let's see. Have you guys tried PlateUp?
No, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, I've been playing that a little bit here and there with my son and with my wife. He got the game and for like Easter, and like really likes it. I like it. It's kind of a mix of like the old Diner Dash games mixed with Overcooked. I feel like it's less chaotic and more strategic.
Okay. See, I like the idea of Overcooked, but I also don't like the idea of my wife divorcing me.
Yeah.
Because we played Overcooked one time and like we played 3 levels and then she just very gently set the controller down and walked away.
I think I tried to Overcooked once when we were in New York, and that didn't last long.
And then as far as like Nintendo stuff goes, besides that, just Pogo, Pokemon Go. I've been doing my dailies in Pokemon Go. Yeah.
Okay.
In the non-Tendo realm, I've been kind of obsessed with Baldur's Gate 3 over the past couple weeks. That's been my go-to.
Yeah.
Been really enjoying that. I like was really into it at release. We played it, and I don't know if you guys have this problem with I mean, it's a it's a tabletop game, right? So I'm playing with a group of 4. It's D&D
Yeah.
in video game form. And it is so hard to coordinate 4 adult schedules. It is just so difficult to get the whole party together for game nights.
Yeah, I think
And
Tim and his
so
group took like 2 months to play it through the game because they would only do it once a week
yeah,
for a few hours at a time.
exactly. I'm shocked he got through it in 2 months. I mean, I feel like we're gonna be playing it for a couple more months at the rate we're going. But we're also kind of like, oh, we gotta go over here. We gotta do everything. We're not just like, that's good enough and move on. So
Mm.
playing
Could have
that
taken him
with my
longer. I
friend
don't
group,
remember.
and also
But
and
he,
also doing a playthrough with my wife. So that's been fun. Not her kind of game at all. But she loves
Sure, but
me and wants to,
well,
and it's a way to spend time together.
that's nice.
We do have fun. We do have fun with it. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of like family gaming with Switch. My daughter has been really into Princess Peach Showtime. Uh, my
Yeah,
youngest
can
son into Just Dance like all the time. Just Dance
can
is
we
like,
can we sit in the pocket there for just a minute and talk about Princess Peach Showtime?
yeah.
Because I just finished it this week. And I don't want to say that I had to like make myself play it,
Hmm.
but it was, and so it's, and that's not what I'm going to say, but it wasn't something that I was just rushing back to. Um, by the time I got to like the 4th floor,
Yeah.
it was just kind of like, oh yeah, that's there, and then I would go play Baltro or something. What were your thoughts on Showtime? Just real
So
quick.
I have not personally played a lot of Showtime. I did like the little intro parts, and I've helped my kids when they've gotten stuck.
Yeah.
uh, my son, my oldest, who's 7, was he played through it all the way, and he really liked it. He talked really highly of it. He's like, I thought that it was just going to be one floor, and that was going to be it, but then there was another floor. I was like, well, I'm glad you liked it.
talk
Okay.
about low expectations. Wow.
Yeah, he the bar was low. So I think I think that it's a great game to play with your kids. I don't know if it's really worth picking up standalone unless you're a really big Princess Peach fan.
Yeah. So like I
Which
kind of feel the same way. Like
It, yeah, I felt the same way you did, Marty. That like near the end of the game, I felt like I had to push myself to keep playing. And like I'm not.
and I
And
think
and was it
part
you,
of
Marty, that was saying that it's horrible for completionists? Because there's
no,
like
that was not me. Like I think
I
who's he
might have
talking to?
alluded to that, but I don't know if I've ever said that. But
I
what
yeah,
remember
I don't
somebody saying
I
like it's
really
just
don't
terrible
like
for that.
I really don't like games that force you through an area and then go, oh yeah, you missed this
Yeah.
and you can't go back. Like, like I don't want to play that level, especially if it's like an auto scroll thing or it's a quick time event that you have to hit this specifically. Like, I don't see myself
yeah.
playing that 4 or 5, 10
And
times
then
trying to.
what makes it worse is if you do go back and get what you missed, you can't just say, "Okay, I got it. I'm going to quit the level now." No, you have to finish the level to
Yeah.
keep it.
Yeah.
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 And that's
So
an issue. Um, I also didn't think like, unless there's just something, and somebody can tell me if there is, unless there's just something spectacular for getting 100%, most of the stuff in the game that you unlock is not even worth buying in the shop anyway.
Yeah, you actually get the full swimsuit version of Peach at the end, just like Metroid. No, just
Hmm, okay.
100% you get. No, I'm
you have,
just kidding. That is not.
but you have to do it in less than an hour.
What I found
Exactly.
about the game is that at the parts that it really like, there are things that it really excels at, like certain roles, costumes, it really excels at. And then there's some that it just absolutely craps the bed at.
Mm.
Like the detective one, not the thief one, but the one where you're like walking around like solving mysteries, terrible. The
I agree.
patissier, terrible.
I agree.
There's the ice skating one, boring. Mermaid, boring. But if you give me the ones where you fight, like the Kung Fu, Sword
Yeah,
Fighter,
the ones
stuff
that
like
were, I agree. I think
that,
the ones that were faster paced, I liked. The ones that were slower paced, I didn't.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
think that the slower paced ones, I think show a weakness, like where the game's weakest. And I think that that's, you know, like
for
it,
sure,
it
for
takes
sure.
it from a great game to a good game. I think though that you said something really important, Andros, and that is your 7-year old loved it. And I think that that is who this game is for,
Yep.
right? This game is for kids, girls and boys who saw the Mario movie and went, man, Peach kicked butt. I want to play as her.
Yeah.
And so they had this game in the pipeline, or they had this idea in the pipeline, maybe even already in development, maybe halfway through, whatever, and they fleshed it out and they made it. The role, I mean, it's fun to try on new roles and stuff, but the enemies are totally forgettable. And I think that that also is kind of inexcusable. Like, there's no reason that that couldn't have just been like Bowser or Bowser Jr. or Wendy O. Koopa, like so, like the Koopa kids play and a bunch of Koopas that they're masquerading as these things. They didn't have to be grapes, which is kind of weird when
Yeah.
I do.
I
Well,
like I want to say, like, I think we've come to expect Mario games to be kind of for everyone.
yeah.
They're not really, there's not really, like, they're fun for kids, they're fun for adults, they're fun for like every age group.
Mhm.
Um and I don't think I don't think Princess Peach Showtime fits into that. And so when you come in with, like, oh, it's a spin-off of a Mario character, you
Oh, it
kind
must
of
be for everybody.
yeah, you kind of expect that. And I think, and to some extent they market it that way, right? Like they didn't go like, oh, this is one, because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
want to
yeah,
sell
yeah.
the game. So yeah,
Well, it was a great experiment. I definitely think that they laid some groundwork that they can improve on for a sequel if it sells enough. I don't think there'd be anything wrong with a sequel.
yeah,
I would probably play it, but it's for kids. This is a game for kids. I would say young kids, like your 6 to 10 year olds. They will have a ball with this game. It'd be great. And I will say this: anything that Nintendo can do uh, to capture more young female fans, I think is a win. And I think this is aimed at that, right? It's aimed at, I don't want to play fashion dress up. I don't want to do that. I want to have some fun too. I want to kick butt too. And so it's for those girls,
yeah.
and but it's also, I think the appeal for it is broad enough. It can be for boys, girls. It can be, I'm not saying that it's not good for adults. I'm just saying don't go in expecting Mario Wonder.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, for sure.
Uh, but I do think one of the places it excels, though, and I'll say this, and I know we need to move on, is I do think it excels in boss fights. I thought the boss fights were fun. So, especially even the
Yeah.
last one, I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah, I've already talked about the boss fight. I was disappointed. I was hoping for something else, but
I'm saying that as a whole, in using the fact that Peach only has a ribbon,
right.
basically in her main form or whatever, I think they did it well. So I never felt like, oh, I'm going to lose this, but
Yeah.
they were better than I expected them to be. How's that? Okay, good deal.
I never did figure
Jess,
out how to legitimately beat the Swords Act 2, the boss of that stage.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. I think I did. I don't know. I'll have to go back and play it now. Thanks. Uh, Jesse, what you been playing?
Okay, I've been playing more Persona 3 Reload. Something happened to my save file. I don't know what. I thought I put it in the sleep mode, but maybe it didn't, and it ran for a bit. But because like my all of a sudden my like 30 hours were added to my playtime for no reason. So
Sure, Jesse, you weren't playing an extra 30 hours.
While I should be at 58 hours, it's looking at 88 hours right now. So I'm getting close to the big twist that happens in November.
You're almost done with the tutorial.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Botany Manor. I did a stream of that. It came out, 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, that was in an indie showcase last year.
It was last year, yeah. I still had it marked in my release notes as a TBD, and I'm like, oh, that released. I need to get rid of that line. Okay, it's a kind of a puzzle game where you're trying to get these rare species of plants to grow under very specific circumstances. Like the temperature of the room's got to be right. Like this plant is found in lightning, so you need to find some way to get lightning to happen. Things like that. In fact, that's where I got stuck. I thought I had the solution to the lightning bit, but what I was doing wasn't working, and I had no additional clues telling me what I was supposed to do with it. So that's when I walked away. So it's not a game for me. If you like obscure puzzle games and want to give it a try, it's there. If you want to see my playthrough up to where I got stuck, it's there. So you can decide for yourself if you want to keep going. Tim actually said that based on my playthrough that he wants to pick it up and give it a go. So it helps someone make a decision. And my throat is hurting for some reason. Okay, so yeah, that happened, and I'm not going to go back to it. I started playing the Cat Quest 3 demo this afternoon before we recorded. I'm not far into it. I don't know how long it lasts, but I found out that I don't like real-time nautical combat. It's hard to aim. It's hard to dodge. And I'm afraid I'm going to have the exact same problem with Steam World Heist 2 when it has real-time nautical combat. But the actual on-foot parts, it's Cat Quest. If you've played previous games, nothing's really changed here, and that part's fun. So I'll keep on playing out to see how long the demo goes. I don't know if demo content will carry over into endgame, into release content or not, but it is the beginning of the game, so it might. Okay, then someone, yeah, you didn't like Cat Quest 2? Hopefully, no, I like Cat Quest 2. I've played both ones previously and liked them, but yeah, it's the nautical stuff that I'm worried about. Okay, then I picked up Stitch from the Indie Direct yesterday, and it's kind of, Picrossy, that type of thing. When they described it as an embroidery puzzle game, just the look on Justin's face was, "Excuse me, what?" And then he saw what it was. I'm like, "Oh yeah, Jesse's definitely got to look at this one." So each puzzle you're given like the whole picture to do, but excuse me, but you only have to do it in small segments. So like, say, 20 to 30 segments at a time. And each segment has numbers in it, say 2s, 4s, 9s, 6s. There are numbers, and then so like a 9, you have to draw a 3x3 square or a 1x9 square. They've got to be rectangles. They can't just, it's not like a Tetris block where it can be any 4 you want. So you have to make these rectangles of fixed length that do not overlap each other and do not overlap the other numbers to make it work. And once you do that, then the game kind of cleans up the stitches, stitch pattern, and it moves on to another section, and that's the game. I
Yeah,
played enough
it's
of it.
charming.
Yeah, it's definitely it does that Picross relaxes my brain type of thinking.
Yeah.
And
It
I'm
kind of it kind of gave me vibes from a little to the left as well. Like
yeah,
by that
I can
kind
see
of
Yeah, I
that.
can see that. Hmm.
it's kind of like Picross and that combined.
Yeah,
Kind of
little
like
to the left was a
but
little bit too picky for me.
yeah. Well,
Like
this
I
this is like
literally
a
I
lot more
couldn't get
solid.
this. Yeah, like little to the left. I'm like, I want to make this book at this angle or this picture at this angle, but it every time I let go, it goes bloop back where it was. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
designed to be a touchscreen. So Stitch is also definitely it was a phone game, so it definitely was designed to be touchscreen. I'm sure the Switch touchscreen works, but I've only tried it docked,
It
which
does.
works
They
just
mentioned
fine.
that in the presentation that you can play at touchscreen.
So I've played enough to unlock the weekly challenge, and the this week's challenge actually is 4 separate images on one big image. That I think it has like 3,500 cells total to fill in. So I did the first quarter. So I'm like 25 to 30% done of it. So yeah, it'll take a while to get through these weekly challenges. I thought did they also mention there was daily stuff too?
There is daily stuff, I
Okay,
believe.
I don't
If
think
you
I opened that
do the
yet.
dailies, if you do the dailies, you can keep the circle or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the hoop.
The hoop. You can keep the hoop.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it. Uh, it is really interesting. Like I'd been playing this for a while on Apple Arcade, and picked it back up yesterday after the presentation, and it is just has this way of relaxing you. And when you get flowing, like when you start seeing it, like, and people who are puzzle game, like, you know what I mean, like when you start to like
Yeah,
it really
like you
click.
can see the answer before you even touch.
It's really, really, I don't know. I think it's so good. There's nothing like it that's out there. And I think it's perfect for the Switch. So I'm glad you're gonna do a video of that, by the way, for the
Yeah,
channel.
yeah. I told Justin I wasn't going to stream the beginning of it. I wouldn't have a chance to stream until the weekend, but I definitely will pick it up to play it a bit so I can talk about it in the show today, which
Yeah.
I did, and then I'll probably do a stream this weekend to at
So
least show it off more.
if you're on the fence, wait for our video to drop and you can check it out. It's actually pretty cheap. And so is the game that I'm going to talk about that I picked up from the presentation, Sticky Business, which is a game about running your own sticker shop
Yeah,
online.
yeah. Stitch is $15.
Yeah, this I believe that Sticky Business it was $12.49, and that's for the DLC and everything. That adds in all the washi tape stuff, like you can add glitter effects. I haven't unlocked all of that yet. This is a really neat game. Like I really appreciate games like this that are almost like a sim, but not really. Like it has some story to it as well. And it's pretty relaxing. Like you jump. I mean, it dumps you in as soon as like, hey, you are in a sticker shop. Start making stickers. And you've got several things unlocked, and you can start manipulating those, like making them bigger, smaller, rotating them, adding stick like parts to each sticker. So I've got like on my game, I've got like 4 stickers that I've designed so far, or 5. I think 5 is the most you can do. So I think it's 4. And you design those, and the first day is like kind of just walking you through designing your first sticker. And then you put it up for sale that night and wake up the next morning and you have orders. And like I mean, it goes down to like you design it, you have to print it. And then once it's printed, you have to package it to fill the orders. You can pick like the way you like. Do you want it packaged with paper? Do you want some like squiggly paper crap thrown in there to like cushion them, to make them
You
package
you're
pop?
throwing
Or
on that you deserve a donut. on the top.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I mean, like I made a donut sticker with
Because
one.
you have to protect that paper.
So what you find is that over time, like there's like your desk has like your tablet, your printer, and it has like on the tablet or somewhere on there you can see like all the order, like all these people. They're like posting, it looks like social media posts. Some of them are locked, and to open those, you have to create a sticker that they kind of give you a hint to do. And like it's like, oh, I really like, it's like, I hope my plants are okay. Well, then it's like, oh, they want you to make a plant sticker, right? So you can make like a plant growing out of the top of a cat's head, or a plant with a donut for the blossom, and so you're like, it's all this prepared art that's already in the game, and you just like are arranging it and making it your own. You name
It's
it,
cool.
you have a website, you can kind of toggle the colors and the background and name it. Like the name of my sticker company is Stick It To You. And so
Good. Good.
they
Did you
Stick
they,
it
did
to the
you come up
man.
with that, or did
I,
it
no,
like?
I came up with that. You
Oh
get to
yeah.
name it. So you can name it like Andros the Sticker Shop, or whatever. Uh, but so as you fulfill orders, like these people email you and they're like, hey, my friend, or like my son, he's really upset because something happened. He really likes animals. And so I ordered these animal stickers for him. And so like there's layers to these stories you're pulling out. And so all of that's there. And then you add on the fact that the music sounds like lo-fi music, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all about this. It's total like I played for a couple hours yesterday. It's totally relaxing, just easy to get into. One thing I don't like is I don't how do I describe this? Like they kind of give you a tutorial, but also the controls are kind of clunky and confusing in a way. And maybe that's just me. Like they don't give you a lot of, hey, if you do this and this, then this happens. So you have to mess with it. And the other thing is that your orders come in, and then there's actually a timer, and it's a day. So like it's like you woke up in the morning and you have all these orders, and then you have time during the day to like make stickers, print them, package them up, and get them to the post office before the end of the day. And you'll see once you ship them all out, it'll say, here's how many orders you completed, here's how many you did right, here's how many you failed, here's how many are late. And so like the last one I did, the last day I did, it had four separate orders, and they were pretty big. Like they were like multiple, like upwards of 10 stickers each. So I'm like, oh, I got to print this and I got to do this and then I package them up. And by the time I got done, I was out of time for that day. So it's like, all I could do was like go to bed. It's not that you can't do it. It's just that like you can't do anything else. It's just, it shows your time's up, and like if you had any orders remaining, they would now be late. So
Man, that sounds too real. I don't like it.
yeah,
It's too
yeah,
realistic. I want to be
it's a
able to
little,
finish all of my job.
What type
yeah,
of
it's a little.
penalty does the game give you for being late?
So I haven't figured that out yet because I haven't been late on any orders, but
Okay.
I feel like
Marty's
that's
too good.
coming.
He's too good.
I'm a sticker packing maniac. But yeah, so the base game for this right now is on sale. It's $8.99. So if it sounds like you kind of want something relaxing, the full package is just like adding on, like later on you can add like holographic and glitter effects, and there's washi tape you can buy. And that's another thing too, is like each order earns you money, but to print your stickers also costs money. So you kind of have to manage, but then all extra elements you have to buy. And so there's two kinds of currency in the game. There's actual money, but then there's hearts that you get by selling more of your stickers. So like the more you sell, like I designed a coffee cup with a smiley face. So the more I get that, it gives stars, which give the heart currency. And then I can go in and I can buy like special things. that you can only get with hearts.
Yeah.
So
Well, you can get heart currency here from the Nintendo dads by dropping 5 stars on your podcast listening app of choice right now.
wow. Wow.
Drop down there and leave 5 stars to get Marty Estes' heart currency.
That's right. That's right. You plus me equals eternity. I
I'm
don't
sorry, it
know.
was too good of an
I love it. I
opportunity
love
to
it.
not
Thank
plug.
you. That is a very, you just hyped us up, man. I heard another podcast call that pumping tires. Like you put air in my tires, you pump my tires.
Yeah, over on Nintendo Pals, we call it taking over the world. That's
I
what we're
love
doing.
it. I
We're
love it.
taking
Thank
over the
you. I
world.
appreciate that. One other game I want to mention, I've started doing something I call Sunday Stream, which is just on Sunday nights at 7 Central. If I've got time and not like this week, I'm probably not going to be able to do it because I'm going to be watching a wrestling pay-per-view. But anyway, a whole nother story.
Man,
Every
too
now
bad you
and then
can't stream that. We could watch wrestling with you.
I
That would be
know that would
awesome.
be oh God, that would be awesome. I think you can, but I got to figure out how to all the rights and stuff. Anyway, I started a game this past Sunday called The Legend of Super Mario, which is a ROM edit of The Legend of Zelda that adds Mario to it, but not like it's not just Zelda with Mario. It's like they've redesigned the entire map, and each dungeon, like in World One, you have to like it starts out, you go in a house, there's a toad there, and it says World One Grasslands, help us save the princess, and he gives you a hammer, and the hammer is the sword. And from there, you go to the next screen over, and there's Koopas, and they're like the Octoroks that are shooting at you, and you're killing those, and you find like caves that are represented by mushrooms, and those are the like Toad House, but you have to have coins to go in and buy stuff. You get to
Man,
dungeon,
I love ROM hacks. They're so cool.
you get to dungeon one, and it says World One, and the dungeon, like you progress through it like a typical Zelda 1 dungeon, except you quickly realize that it is screen by screen World 1 2 remade in this dungeon. Except you're playing it on like that 2 5 2, the 3D space, I guess what you want to call it, but it's all the block setups and everything from from 1 2.
That's cool. Wow,
It's
what a creative idea.
and so you like that dungeon has a boomerang, but eventually you get on to find the leaf, which allows you to move rocks. There's a fire flower, of course, that's the candle. There's the canoe, which is the raft. And recently I found, I guess it's the bow and arrow, is the Super Ball flower from Mario Land and the Super Ball,
Nice.
which is necessary to defeat the boss of stage 4. So we got through all the way through World 4 on that playthrough that night. And when I do Sunday stream again next, we'll go through as far as we can get. I'm committed to beating it on stream. And it's really cool because like it takes like the Zelda, like the familiar Zelda like sounds and everything for items and stuff, but it twists them with Mario melodies.
That's
So
cool.
like,
That's cool.
when you get you're not getting Triforce pieces, you're getting superstars when you beat um the the bosses, and it's like like the end world melody. And like even the overworld music, it's tinged with Zelda, but it's the familiar Super Mario 1 overworld. You just got to go check it out. I
Yeah,
found it via YouTube
I think I
video,
do.
and I'm playing it on like my computer with the original NES Switch controller, and it's working beautifully. It's really fun. Um, I will say there's no walkthroughs for it. So I'm having to figure it out as I go along. Like there's a long play video on YouTube where a guy plays through it, and I had to use that during my stream. Like I have no clue where to go. I have no idea what to do. And then I found it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's stupid.
That's a Zelda
But
game. That's a Zelda
yeah,
game.
right. I think a lot of people forget that the original Zelda is just a lot of trial and error if you don't
It
have a guide.
really is. It really is.
Do I need to burn all 50 of these bushes to find the one entrance? You know?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Well, guys, that's what we've been playing. Let's turn on the community spotlight. The first thing we want to do is we want to turn the spotlight on our guest, Andros. And we've already mentioned before that you are a part of the Nintendo Pals. And you also mentioned your streaming channel where you're doing Zelda challenges. I would love for you to just talk about what you do, like the shows you produce, where people can find you. We want people to be connected to you. So
Yeah.
go
Well,
for it.
thanks for giving me the opportunity to spotlight. So my name on all social media platforms, Andros1. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube. Like I said, I do a lot of Zelda gaming challenges, a lot. I'm like a Nintendo variety streamer. Do I do speed running, but mostly gaming challenge runs. And if you really like highly produced and edited like game videos, that's what my YouTube channel is. And then beyond that, I do like shorts, TikTok, that kind of stuff. All under Andros1. And that's me. And then with my good pal Micah, we host a show together called Nintendo Pals. And we were inspired by the Nintendo dads back in the day and thought we can do that. Let's do it too. And so we have been doing Nintendo Pals for coming up on 4 years of Nintendo Pals. And it's a weekly show where we talk about all things Nintendo, games we're playing, news, and we like to throw in like games and special topics. We've been doing a lot lately with AI. So some examples of shows that we've done recently. I just had Micah go through a dating show where I used ChatGPT to be mystery Nintendo characters, and he had to uh, go on speed dates with them. You'll never guess who he ended up with. Never guess.
I,
But
can you give us a hint?
well, his favorite game is Metroid Prime, and he somehow landed a date with Samus herself. And
Wow,
I even gave Samus the chance to walk away with money instead of go on a date with him, and she chose to go on a date with him. So
good for Micah.
yeah, good for Micah. Chat GPT, thank you for that. And we
Here I
do
thought it was going to be Ridley, but
that would have been so funny. That would have been so good. I snuck Waluigi in there as a contestant. Yeah, that was pretty funny. So yeah, we do goofy stuff like that. We do like top 10 lists, like favorite this that. Anything Nintendo related, we've talked about it. We continue to talk about it. So yeah. That's what I do. I put
Awesome.
there is a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and work as these guys here know that goes into making stuff. So
Yeah,
I don't really have time to do anything besides
I got
Andros
you.
one's a full-time job by
Yeah,
itself.
you're doing that. You're a dad. You obviously have a job and life outside of the podcast world.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Unfortunately, you know.
yeah, right. I
No,
mean,
I love being a dad. Man, I wish I could full-time podcast. That's the dream, right? I'd be a
yeah,
full-time creator. But yeah,
that would be cool.
it's a lot of fun. And I've collaborated with the Nintendo Dads a bunch. So if you want to hear episodes of uh Marty and us talking about favorite Southern dishes or what have you, We got a bunch of episodes.
Yeah.
We need to get you back on. We need to get you back on, Marty.
Hey,
And you
we
too,
would
Jesse.
love to. We would love to. Anybody from over here. We're always available. So y'all go check out Andros and the Nintendo Pals and like, subscribe, 5-star, all that good stuff, because they are quality folks with quality content. And I could say that because I've met them in person, and they did not rob or murder me.
And we were in New York. We could have.
Yeah,
we could have.
I borrowed a Tingle hat and posed with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
the Tingle suit makes a regular appearance on our shows. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So if you have not watched them or consumed any of their content, go check them out. You will be glad that you did. Hey, we want to remind you guys, Friday night NSO is coming up. That'll be, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, it is Friday. It is tonight. If you're watching us right now, it'll be tomorrow night, second Friday of the month. Tim will be back tomorrow night for Friday night NSO with Tim, Shannon, and Chris HL. Sometimes Sam gets in on that. You can come play along in the Discord.
Last week was Friday night. This week is the table.
Oh, this week's the table. That's right.
Yeah.
Tim, I'm sorry. I'm misinterpreting that Tim said he will be back for the next Friday night NSO. Right. So, and sometimes I even make a surprise appearance if I have time. So you can come check that out. Sunday streams, like I've already talked about, every Sunday night live at 7 p.m. Central until I just get tired of playing. Sometimes it's 8 o'clock. Sometimes it's 9 o'clock. Sometimes I don't know. I've only done it twice, so I don't know what my limit is. But that will be preempted this week in favor of AEW Dynasty, which I will be watching live, and I'll be back the next week. However, this Friday is the table, as Jesse talked about, at 10 p.m. Eastern. This is where the community gets together at the table to discuss what's on everyone's mind. It's therapeutic. It's a wonderful time to catch up with people. It is not recorded. So it is, it's Vegas. It's Vegas. And you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And it has spawned its own language, including things like slaw. I have no clue what that's about, but they talk about it.
It's been a bit since I've been to the table, apparently.
Yeah.
There's a new language you gotta learn.
There's some language there.
It's got its own lore.
It's got its own lore. If you want to join in, you need to be a Patreon or Twitch subscriber to get access to the Discord, and you just come on in the voice chat room and sit down at the table. Also, don't forget the monthly Retro Logic Retro Rewind, which is in the Retro Logic channel and community. This month, it's Pokemon X and Y. They're doing a Pokedex challenge. The most Pokemon caught wins a $10 eShop card to the eShop of your choice, which means, yes, they will even pay out Xbox and PlayStation online stores, if that's what
if you're doing that, though, shame on you. Shame on you.
Right. Taking good Nintendo money.
Yeah. We need that money to go to people that need it, like Nintendo, all right?
Right. They really need it. The war chest is not stuffed full.
So they can get to Gamescom, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
They need
See, that's the thing. That's
$10.
why they're not going, is that we've had to give away eShop cards for other eShops. And they're like, we're sorry. We just can't go. We can't afford a plane ticket now. Well, let's take some questions from the community.
I couldn't remember if we skipped these last week or not. The top two were there from last week. If we talked about them, we can skip them. If we didn't, we can hit them.
We did not. We skipped these, unfortunately.
Okay.
I
didn't remember answering the questions. That's why I thought it was weird.
We had to skip some stuff last week because our conversation with Brian just went so great, and and we didn't want to crowd that out. So
yeah, way better than this one with me. That's for sure.
Oh, that's why we're doing questions, is because you're
self-deprecating humor is.
Listen, that's why we're doing these, is because your conversation has been so crappy.
Yeah, I'm going to take the shots at myself. I'm going to take the shots at myself before anybody else can.
Look, we're using Chat GPT to make up listener questions right now. So you've inspired us. No, these are real questions from real people, unless they are AI and they're probably trying to kill us. Hoots asks us this: what's Nintendo's holiday game going to be? And that I would guess he's referring to the game that usually comes out around November.
Yeah, I kind of think it might be the Zelda, the Wii U remakes on Switch. The rumor is they've been on the shelf for 2 or 3 years. They're just waiting for the right time to do it.
It's time.
And if they've got nothing else, it's time.
Yep. Okay. I think I'm in the same boat as Jesse. That's exactly what I was going to say. The Zelda remakes. Maybe we'll see some other port. I have hope for Kid Icarus Uprising port, but I don't know.
Guys, I listen. I know this may be a shocker, but I think it's going to be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundled in with a Nintendo Switch.
Again,
I haven't done that before, but I think it may be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yep.
There's
fifth time in a row.
There's some Nintendo warehouse somewhere where there is literally to the ceiling. It's stacked with Mark II Switches with Mario Kart bundled in, and like there's so like Doug Bowser's just stuff. There's like, oh, we're never gonna get rid of it.
I do enjoy because that I got that bundle when it first released. Okay. I think it was like the first Black Friday after the Switch release.
Yeah.
And I do feel good about my purchase then because it hasn't the value has stayed the same. So right. I didn't lose money, that's for sure.
Okay.
That's so funny.
They can't even put it in an OLED model. It's just the same old Switch.
It's the same one, yeah.
Like these were manufactured in 2018.
What's your guys' verdict on Metroid Prime? I'm thinking that's this year, but I don't think it's like the holiday title.
I don't think it can't be the holiday game. I think early September.
Yeah, I'm thinking
maybe October.
It's an October vibes kind of game. That's when they did Dread. So I think that's my
it's a little spooky, right? Mm-hmm. Like they could call it a spooky game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm thinking either that or it'll be a co-launched with the Switch's successor and launch whenever that launches.
And it will be the last game for that's my prediction. It's the last Nintendo published game for Switch before we move over into Switch 2. Who knows? Those are all good guesses. I don't really have a holiday game. I don't know. Like I like Wind Waker, but that's because I want it. Right? That like I did like honestly, that's why I like that. It's just I want that. But
how about there's a couple Wii U ports, stragglers. Xenoblade Chronicles X.
That one was so dependent on the second screen. I'm not sure how well that'll. Color Splash could work.
Color Splash can stay dead for all I care.
Yeah, that game upset me.
Yes, that game makes me mad. That's the only game I've ever played produced by Nintendo that made me legit angry to play.
My argument with that game was, you're going to make me play a card battler? Fine. Don't mess with my deck.
Yep, nope, you just got to keep buying more cards because...
No, that wasn't the issue. It's, Kemet comes around and every card's face down. You don't know what you're playing. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm playing. I'm playing the off button.
Look, that makes me mad in Balatro right now. Like,
exactly, same thing.
It's like you got a great run going, but nope, face down cards, start over. Ugh, I hate it. Anyway, I didn't finish that game. I got pretty far. I tolerated it long enough to get just to the point where I finally said,
I don't think I beat the second world.
Yeah, I made it to the same point as Jesse. I was like world 2, and I was like, I am so done. This is. I would say bad.
I got like 5 of the 7 colors, and I'm just a glutton for.
Wow, I good for you. You deserve some sort of medal for making it that far. Yeah, that game. To your point, Jesse's like. They're like, oh, they're messing with your cards. And what's the point of even fighting? There's no experience points. There's no point. Oh, man. Paper Mario. Really get me riled up.
I am so looking forward to Thousand Year Door. That was the best of the series.
I have never played Thousand Year Door, so I am
you will need to fix that.
Yep,
do
I'm
that.
absolutely stoked.
Yeah.
That's a day one purchase, day one
Okay.
play.
2 questions here from Darth Platypus. Here's the first one. What is the game soundtrack that you'd like to be able to own, and what format would you like it in? As in CD, vinyl, digital, 8-track.
I like, everyone wants everything in vinyl now, but I think to be funny, I would want something in an 8-track. That's what like my father's generation listened to,
Yep.
and
The
so
vibe
I am familiar with the mechanics of how that works, and it's just, as a kid, it blew my mind.
One of the first cars that I can remember my parents having had an 8-track player in it.
Yeah, I think my dad had what in the 80s we called a boombox, but this was something from the early 70s that it had an 8-track player in it in addition to radio.
Wow.
But yeah, pretty much any soundtrack, Final Fantasy, Mario, Zelda, I don't care. But throw something on an 8-track and I'd be amused.
This is a tough one for me. I love Nintendo music. Like, I love Nintendo music. I listen to Nintendo music all the time. If I have to pick just one, though. Well, funny enough, I'm a big fan of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and the soundtrack to those games. And there was a brief window of time where you could go to their official website and get those games. So I have the official.
I downloaded the entire album.
Yeah.
And have that in my iTunes library.
But I'd have to go something Zelda, and I'd probably go Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. It's a subtle soundtrack, but when the soundtrack hits, it hits, So yeah, and
I really wish that they had leaned into that a little bit more, because that, like, I call it Siege of the Castle, at the end of Breath of the Wild, where you finally make it to the castle and you're working your way up to Calamity Ganon. That music that's in the background with the undertones of the Zelda, the main theme and everything is so good.
So good. Yeah, one of the best soundtracks they've ever
But I never felt like I could stop long enough to appreciate it, because you're in danger literally the entire time.
Yeah, it's something that you'd only really be able to pay attention to if you're observing someone else play it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I'm going to say 2. Mega Man 2. Absolutely. Would love and I know these exist. Mega Man 2 is on iTunes, like or Apple Music. You can go listen to it. But so I would like it as the original soundtrack, like the order of the soundtrack, but I would love different interpretations of it, like like a OC remix or whatever. But I would like that on. I don't play CDs anymore, so everything's all digital. So I would just like it digital.
Yeah, I want digital everything.
But the other is Chrono Trigger.
Can I throw one out here that does exist, but that I don't have? Is the Plock vinyl.
There's an actual Plock.
There's an actual Plock vinyl. 2 discs. One is bright yellow and one is bright red.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is so cool.
Okay.
And I think someone in the chat at some point said secret word of the day is Plock. So there you go.
Yeah.
There's your point for secret.
Now I'm looking up. There it is. Plock SNES official soundtrack sold out.
That soundtrack is so good. Way ahead of its time. It's like, what were the Fallen Brothers doing? Like, how did they know that they were making music that would be like standard like 20 years later? Like,
can we just say that we all are at this point, we deserve a Plock remake?
Please.
Come on, guys.
I want it so bad. I just want it re-released in some form. I don't even care.
I have it on my SNES Classic.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I would like it. I would like it re-released with some tweaks. I mean,
I would just like the ability to save scum it. Yeah, that would be nice. like
Yeah.
rewind and all that.
Absolutely. Okay. Good
Marty, I can always
question.
count on you to back me up on Plock. I don't get this on my own
I
show.
like Plock. I like Plock.
Micah always trashes it. So
I'm all in for like Plock being a assist trophy for the next Smash.
let's do it. Get Sakurai on the phone. We know he listens to the show.
Well, I've got his phone number in my phone. I'll text him tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll call.
I'll give him a call. Darth Platypus also asks this: if you could get one game signed by anyone, what game would it be, and who would you want to sign it?
I have to look. Google.
I know
the
everybody's
name,
going to
but
think that I'm going to say Mega Man 2, and they're right. No, it is.
Who would you have
would
sign
be,
it?
Not Inafune. Oh gosh, no,
Yeah.
not him now. Just Mega Man. Can Mega
You
Man
want Mega
sign it?
Man to sign it? Yeah,
I do. I want it signed by Mega Man. Actually, for me, it would be I want it both ways. All right, I want a Famicom version and an NES version Super Mario 3 cartridge signed by Miyamoto.
that's a good. That's a good call. I think for like the I'm gonna go with my gut here. I'm gonna say Masahiro Sakurai, and I want Smash Bros. Ultimate signed copy. I mean, the magnum opus of the series, and potentially his like final game in the series. And I just think that's like that would be such a cool one to have a signed copy of.
But no Plock.
No Plock. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'd take it. Yeah, I for sure would take it. But I think I'd like the Smash Bros. Ultimate a little bit more. Yeah.
doesn't leave a lot of room for the signature on something so small. Well, like I said,
I was thinking like the case. Yeah, I was thinking the case. He signs my cartridge.
Yeah, I was thinking the cartridge.
Actually,
anyway,
you're right. Like if I'm thinking about like how decorative a cartridge would be, I'd probably have to go with Miyamoto and Ocarina of Time if that's where we're gonna go with that. So, yeah, go with that. Get that route.
So Marty could probably guess my answers. I have two in mind.
One of them is a Dragon Quest game.
Yes. So I would say I would want the Super Famicom version of Dragon Quest V signed by Akira Toriyama. And the other one would be I would rather have no. I would rather have the Super Famicom version of Final Fantasy VI signed by Nobuo Uematsu.
Good picks. Good picks. Yeah.
Those are great picks, actually. That's awesome. Good answers, guys. Good questions. Zablanc asks us this with the kerfluffle or kerfuffle, kerfuffle, wobble puffet, wobble buffet.
Exactly.
With the kerfluffle over the Star Wars Outlaws Jabba DLC come and gone, we seem to be left with another example of a glaringly icky industry standard. DLC and season passes full of mystery DLC, air quotes. Normally, you would just wait and see what the DLC is down the road and buy it then. But over the last couple of years, we've seen companies combine their mystery DLC with several days early access as bait, something you can't push off into the future. What are your thoughts on expensive mystery DLC? And have you ever bought in on it for a game just to find out later you didn't want it?
Breath of the Wild t-shirt?
I was just gonna say that my answer to this would be I typically don't want DLC for a game. I find that by and large, most DLC for games doesn't add a lot to it. I don't want challenge modes or speed runs or extra difficulty or costumes. I want more game to play. I want more characters, and they need to be different. I think one of the more egregious examples of this lately has been with WWE 2K24. They sold a version that was $120 something dollars, touted the 40 years of WrestleMania pack. And the 40, like the only thing that separated it from the $99 version was some costumes for some of the wrestlers, like some versions, like to the 2015 version Triple H or something like this. And some like my faction packs, which is this card game you can play in the which why they even bother with that? Like it's their scheme for making more money. But you also get the DLC, like the season pass DLC. And one of those, like it was like 5 DLC packs released throughout the year. And so, like after a lot of people had bought this, they start revealing it. And one of the packs is literally the Pat McAfee show. It's Pat McAfee, who is a WWE announcer and sometimes wrestler, who also runs a show, I think on ESPN, is where that is. I'm not very familiar because mainly I think Pat McAfee's annoying. But anyway, it's him and all the people from his show who are not wrestlers. They're like, why would anybody buy that? Like individually. Like it's it's shoehorned into this pack where there's all these like classic and current wrestlers who are going to be part of the DLC. But man, like if you think about it, if the game's $69.99 and I'm paying $30 for a DLC pack or the season pass, that means each pack is like $6. Why would I pay $6 to play as Pat McAfee? I don't get it. Or like the guy who runs the soundboard on his show. You know, I think that the outlaw stuff is
It's
crap. I
Jesse
think
Waldeck.
yeah, I'll see. I would buy that. I'd buy Jesse DLC. It's worth it. I do think the Star Wars Outlaws thing is really crappy. Because it looks like that like access to that in game is locked behind having the season pass at all. I just
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird and it's gross. But I would say this to everybody who complains about DLC. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. You bought it. You did this. All of us have done this to ourselves. We have bought into DLC and we have created this culture because we refuse to say no because we like our shinies. And until we stop buying it, that's just going to continue.
And it all started with horse armor.
Yes.
Gosh dang it, horse armor. So could you repeat the question, Marty? Because
So basically, the Outlaws Jabba DLC, you've heard about this, right?
I hadn't until just now.
That they locked there apparently
Yeah.
there's a mission with or a series of missions maybe
That are going to
with
be like timed exclusive,
yes.
locked behind like
Yeah.
a season pass.
And so basically his question is, what are your thoughts on expensive mystery DLC and have you ever bought in on it for a game only to find out later you didn't want it, like it wasn't worth it to you?
Yeah, my thoughts on expensive mystery DLC are I'm gonna kind of take similar stance to Marty where I don't like it. But when done well, it works. I would say Breath of the Wild was a good example of this. I really like Breath of the Wild's DLC. I liked the additional story elements. You didn't need to get it to play and enjoy the game, and it was kind of a mystery DLC when you first signed up for it to get it.
It's true.
So, and it worked well. But that's from a game I knew I liked, and from a company I trusted. So I think like they earned the ability for me to do that, where a lot of these companies haven't. They've not earned any sort of trust with their community or their consumer market, and it comes off that way as kind of like scummy, you know. DLC that I purchased, expensive DLC that I purchased that I regret.
For me, I'll say this as you're thinking about that. Like for me, the only time I've ever done this, not really in a game, but in board games. Like I bought
Okay.
all in
Hmm.
when I discovered the board game Pandemic, I was like, oh well, obviously I love this game. I need the expansions.
Right.
We've never
And there's
played
a bunch. There's a bunch for
we never
Pandemic.
we I bought two of them and we've never played them.
Yeah.
So I just think that where the idea and it's like DLC, it's like, oh, you got to have the base game to get this. Like a lot of times that just makes the game very hard to set up and very unwieldy to play because it's like I got to have this piece and learn these rules and add this to this and do this. And
Like
so I just
six
stay away.
player Catan.
Yes. Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
it shouldn't be as bad as it is,
But it is.
but it is.
Yeah. I normally avoid DLC. Like I did buy Breath of the Wild, and I didn't finish either of the DLC tracks. I thought about the Pokemon DLC for Scarlet Violet, but
That's the one I was going to throw out as like one that I think I could say I regret. Sorts.
Mm,
but
I don't think it's bad necessarily, but yeah, I haven't
but
really played it.
I actively avoided it
Got it.
because they never fixed the base game.
They didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
And I had the Japanese version, so it would have been a pain to have to go into the Japanese eShop to pay Japanese yen to buy the DLC for it. Uh, something I would have done if I thought it was going to be worth it, but I said, if you don't fix this game, I'm not going to throw more money at you.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the time mystery DLC not crazy about. Even for like Smash Bros Ultimate. You could buy the like fighter pass up front, but I remember people going like, "Man, I was really disappointed in this full pass. These aren't really the characters I wanted." And it's like that's what's going to happen when you do things. But then on the flip side,
it still didn't include the amiibo costumes. You had to pay 75 cents for each one if you wanted them.
yeah. And on the flip side of that, the Mario Kart tracks I felt were awesome. And
Oh yeah.
I really liked that, and that was a complete mystery. But it felt
It was.
less. Those felt less impactful and meaningful than like a full-on
I
replayable
think
character.
I think with that we were just excited to get more Mario Kart.
Yeah, we're starving. Give us something. Yeah,
It's been 10 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for real. Yeah.
So
So I am not anti DLC. I think there are good ways to do it. I think mystery DLC. I think timed exclusive DLC. Not a fan of those two styles of
I think
DLC.
that I'm like you. I'm okay if it adds something to the game after release, like it gives me more of something I love. But where I draw the line is I am so tired of games releasing and it's obvious that this was supposed to be part of the game, the base game,
Yeah,
and now you're having to pay extra for it.
yeah. They just
Right?
took it out.
Or give us an extra $30 so you can play it 3 days early.
Yeah, this game it came out 75% done, but for an extra $20 you can get the extra 25%. Eh,
Yeah, I mean, at that point, just there's good ways to do that too. Baldur's Gate released in early access form a long time ago, and then just became
yeah.
like went to full release last year, and it was like, but they had the trust of their community, right? They earned the 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 consumer relationship, and I feel like they're
Well,
championing good DLC.
early access is different in that you don't have to pay for those updates. Once they update it, you get those updates for free.
Yeah,
Oh,
Larian's
And
never
generally
charged for DLC on
and
their
usually you ended up, if you buy it during not all. This isn't all games, but many games, if you buy it during early access, it's actually cheaper than what they'll
Mhm.
charge you once it's a full release. Like Hades, I
Yeah.
think did that too. They
Yep.
you got a price bump when it went to 1.0 and on Steam.
Yeah, and I don't want every game to do that either, right? You don't want every game to release in early access, but a lot of these games are essentially doing that, right? They're
Mhm.
releasing like
You're getting the alpha release, and then they you know.
and then they charge you extra for the
And
rest.
what's worse about this, and where I think people kind of see take umbrage with this with Star Wars Outlaws, is that a lot of people know that this is a ploy to get everybody to buy in because Ubisoft is putting this thing on sale 3 months later for half off, right? Because they do that with all their games.
Right. Ubisoft has built a relationship with their consumers and customers that makes it so it's kind of the opposite of trust and buy at full price. It's the trust that
Right.
we will lower the price. So
It's
just
a
wait a little bit.
discouragement of paying them money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've conditioned their audience to wait to buy their games at cheaper prices. And it's
Hmm.
And
like
we saw that with Prince of Persia.
yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really like
Mario and Rabbids.
the one that I
Mario.
kick myself about is that one, the Mario and Rabbids, the second one, because I did not like it and I spent full price on it. And then like a month or two later, you could get it for $25.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think
So
I bought the DLC, but I bought the base game at launch and played a world maybe.
yeah. Let's move on to this last question. Solo says the Discord was talking NSO this week with Switch 2 coming and supposed PS4 level paying. How should NSO be overhauled? Shout out to David for the ideas of indies as a sub tier. Let's hear some crazy fun ideas. So I think what he's referring to is that like PlayStation Plus has different levels and you get different things based on how much you're willing to pay for a year. Um, how how do we think that NSO should be overhauled? I mean, we probably spend a whole entire episode on this.
Yeah.
But I mean, we are if you think about it, we already have two tiers. You have the regular tier, you have the expansion pass. So what should be added? What should we do?
I think they just need to add more systems. They've hit a lot of the big titles, big ticket games in the libraries
Yeah.
they have. So let's get DS games on there. I mean, for the Wii U, you could buy and play DS games through the Wii U eShop.
Hmm.
So that would be good there. And I think we could probably. I think it's been long enough. Let's put some GameCube. Let's let's put some GameCube on here. So I think that would be cool. Re-release the GameCube controller yet again. But this time it's an NSO wireless controller.
A new
Dude, you know how
wavebird.
that would that would sell out so fast. Like people will be
Yeah,
bringing.
I think I
We're
have
gonna
three
be
or four wavebirds that are all still in good working order, and
we're gonna be in the year like
I would buy two new
2070,
ones if they came out.
and they're still gonna be making GameCube controllers compatible with new Smash Bros. Like it's gonna be like
Yeah.
that for the for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see them bring back TurboGrafx 16 games. I would love to see them dip into the Sega Master System. Neo Geo needs to come back. I really thought, when we saw Sega, that's what was going to happen, that we were going to get that. Um, but the main thing that I want to see with NSO is I do not want to wait for them to release these games again. Stop that.
Yeah.
Have the catalogs available from the beginning. Just offer it as there it is. It's a perk for being a part of it. I do not want to wait 6 to 9 months into the Switch 2's life cycle for them to once again release Super Mario Brothers 3 for me to play on
Yeah,
NSO.
yeah. And what's the point of the trickle feed? Does that actually work? Do people go, oh shoot, this game's out, and I'm gonna go buy it? It's
No,
like,
what I
no.
see, honestly, what I see happen more often than not now is when they release a new game, it's just moaning and groaning and complaining. It's not this, it's not that. I don't know that game. I don't, why would anybody want to play this? If you
Never
don't
heard of
like
this
it,
game.
It's not Plock. It's not Plock. That's me. I'm moaning and groaning over here. Why isn't it Plock?
I would love to, if imagine that some 8 o'clock, some random Thursday night, they announce 3 new games are available for Nintendo Switch Online. Block.
Yeah, people on Twitter will be so angry, and there will be me there. like losing my mind. People
Yep.
like all these unheard
It,
of games.
it's great. Any other ideas?
Virtual Boy.
Yes. I do
That's another
think
system.
I do think the idea of having indies as a sub tier, like you're paying, like you pay an extra fee.
Mm,
I don't know that you could do it with all indies because then I think you're devaluing games like some people have found on Game Pass happens.
yeah.
Um, but maybe like an indie subscription, it's like, hey, if you do this, then if you pay us this much money extra, you can choose from 3 indie games a month to that you get. Like it's like a voucher, right? Or 2 indie games a month for this tier.
I like that idea.
Yeah. That's a cool idea. And they already have like a pretty robust system with Indie World, right? And so just kind of
Yep.
turn that into
Oh,
like
that would be
fold that
great.
into the
Hey,
subscription.
this one is available right now on this tier.
Yep.
You know that um I think the other way that you could go with that too is that maybe have a tier for Nintendo first parties.
Yeah, that's never going to happen though.
No, no, they want those sales. They want the physical sales. They want the
They
digital
do.
sales.
They do.
They're never going to put them on sale. Sales.
Trying to look up the name of this game.
And they are the
The,
anti Ubisoft. That's for sure.
um, you know, it's just, like, this was never really. I think this was available on Wii U and Switch in Japan, never in North America. I'm trying to find it. Joy Sound is basically a karaoke app, and I think it's a free download to get the game in the infrastructure. But if you want, but you have to rent whatever music you want to play. I think I don't know if it's just for the whole library or specific songs, but I don't think you ever buy them. I think it's always in a rental. You pay so much money, you get it for 24 hours or a week or so. It's pretty much designed for let's have a karaoke party at the house, and so they'll throw money at that, and Nintendo put of Japan's Nintendo account put out an update on what's coming out in Joy Sound from the week of the 27th. So it's still being uh, supported in Japan. So why not have something like that here? Yeah, not going to be as popular because karaoke isn't as popular here as it is in Japan. But still, I think enough people might be interested enough to have it worth giving it a try.
You know what I would get me? Have a tier where they bring back the Everybody Votes channel.
Yeah.
So let's go. Yeah.
I would be all over that. Or
Yeah.
do like a street pass thing. Like you get these games that you can't get anywhere else by being a part of this tier. Like, Find Me, all those different games. Like I'm just piggybacking off Jesse's idea. Like things that aren't available at retail, you get these digitally, you know. Um and how
How about like Pokemon games? That'd be cool to
Pokemon
see on
tier.
N to see on NSO. It's
Yeah,
like that's a big part of their handheld libraries, and they don't have those on there. Yeah,
I love it.
there's some
I
like
love
just
it.
really weird missing games,
Yes,
and
I agree.
like you said earlier, Marty. It's like don't trickle feed these. Just release it all. Make your thing worth paying for to have and to keep.
Yep. I mean, I'm not canceling my NSO every year and being like, Well, I'll just wait till they trickle out some more game, whatever, put out some more games. Or
Yeah.
I'm tired of this 100 games we've got. No, I'm going to keep it because I enjoy having access to those. We have a voicemail from Christian. So let's take a listen.
Hey guys, it's me, Christian. I just wanted to have a quick question for you guys. I've been working out a lot, and I've been taking up boxing and working on the punching bag, and it made me think, what is your guys' favorite fighting game? And on top of that, what is your favorite move from that fighting game? My favorite fighting game is definitely Street Fighter 2, and it is the Hadouken from Ken. Not from Ryu, from Ken. I like the Hadouken from Ken because it's this cool, round, blue fireball. Anyways, what is your guys' favorite fighting game, favorite move? I hope you guys are having a great day. And whatever you say, please don't say down B in Smash Brothers from Kirby. All right, guys, have a great day.
So no stone.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is down B? Because I'm not familiar.
It's the where he
transforms into a rock or something heavy and drops on you.
Okay.
Ooh. So my answer to this is going to be, and it's a shame that we don't have access to this right now on modern consoles, is Mortal Kombat 2. I will always love Mortal Kombat 2 because it reminds me of being 12 years old, begging my mom to drive me to Walmart, of all places, where they had a Mortal Kombat 2 machine in the entryway on the bakery side, on like the food side, and showing up with a roll of quarters and a meal from McDonald's and spending several hours there with friends just playing Mortal Kombat 2. And that is an experience that is entirely foreign to so many people now.
Yeah. That doesn't exist
It
anymore.
doesn't exist unless you go to like one of those retro arcades, right? Which we went to one of those recently. It was awesome. They didn't have Mortal Kombat 2. Well, no, they did have Mortal Kombat 2.
Our local arcade does.
So my guy on Mortal Kombat 2 is Reptile. And that energy ball that he does where it like flips the person towards you and it sets them up for an uppercut. That's it.
It's a good one. It's a good pick.
Yeah, I was also going to say Mortal Kombat 2. That was like the last game that I was actually good at. Except for in my case, I was in college. We had one of those machines in our college arcade recreational area, and this was like the only arcade where I've actually seen people stack quarters up to indicate their place in line. I've heard of this before, but I've never actually seen it until I was there in college. And it's been so long I don't remember exactly all the moves anymore, what for all the characters. But I think being able to play as Shang Tsung, and he has a morph ability to switch into every other characters to have their moves set for a short time. I think if anyone who understood how all that worked, it would just dominate because they could pick whatever the best character met the scenario that they were, depending on who they were playing against.
And the secret Kentaro fatality that you can do.
I remember that one.
I'm surprised neither of you guys did the is Scorpion with the get over here. Yeah. That's the classic.
But yeah, I mean it's classic. But
you got to go with your guy for sure.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm gonna say Smash Bros. Falcon Punch. I mean, it's like first off, F-Zero. There's no. I don't think that's like part of the F-Zero games.
No,
they just
it's
made
not.
It up for Smash Bros. And when he was like, yeah, I've been trying. When Christian was talking about like, what's your favorite moves? I just couldn't stop thinking about. Show me your moves. Like that's what he says.
Falcon Punch.
Falcon Kick. It's like what a we need to put some F-Zero stuff in here. And they're like, yeah, what can he do? Fire punches. They're like, yeah, good idea. Good idea. Write that down.
He can punch somebody so hard they see the curvature of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like, because that was totally a surprise. I remember buying Smash Brothers on the 64, playing that and unlocking, and I'm like, Captain Falcon? What is Captain Falcon doing in this game? And then like just wrecking people with a Falcon punch.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that he was in the first Smash Bros. Like he's one of the original cast. That's what's wild. It's like he's the kind of character you would have expect to shown up in like Brawl or like one of these like way later games. Like, yeah, we decided to throw in this kind of obscure character.
We got Captain Falcon and Jigglypuff in the first Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. Of all the people they could have added. But you know what? Falcon Punch, man. That's a classic move.
Ness, when like half the people are like, who is Ness? Yeah. Well, anyway, man, Andros, we want to say thanks again for coming on the show this week. Y'all be sure to go check him out, Andros1, on social media as well as Nintendo Pals. Y'all go check them out. If you haven't already, go throw them a like, a subscribe, a follow, whatever you do on the socials. Poke. Do people poke each other?
I haven't heard that in a long time. That's like a Facebook thing. Like, yeah, I remember that back in the day.
Yeah,
Facebook.
Good old Facebook poke. Give Andros.
Yeah, go throw a poke towards me. Yeah, well, for sure.
Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. This has been episode 479 of Nintendo Dads. As we close out the show, I want to remind you guys, we have a brand new show starting on the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts on May the 4th. Star Wars Dads will kick off with episode 0. It is a time of podcast unrest, and they are coming. They will fire when ready. So be sure to watch for that. Check it out. We are excited about launching that new show. Also, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernstberger, Jacqueline Amira, RJ Kern, and our 90+ other patrons. And a special thank you to our 36 Twitch subscribers, over 1,400 Twitch followers, over 7,400 YouTube subscribers. Basically, what we're saying is thank you to each and every one of you that has invested your time or your energy or your effort or even your money into making Nintendo Dads what it is. We would not be here without you. So thank you to everybody who follows us, subscribes, likes, whatever. You can head over to nintendodads.org to find our Spotify podcast feeds for the show, including Dads After Dark, Retro Logic, and their family of podcasts, all of our new YouTube videos and tweets, links to our social media, and Nintendo Dads merch over there, including our designs for 500 episodes, 10 years of podcasting coming up later this year. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, manscaped.com, where you can get 20% off your Manscaped order and free shipping with the code NINDADS, that's NINDADS, and factormeals.com, where you can get 50% off your first order with the code NINDADS50. You can get yourself some tasty microwave-ready meals, plenty of protein, and lots of nutrition. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. We want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And a reminder, as Andros said earlier, wherever you listen to this podcast, your podcatcher of choice, give us a 5-star review if they allow that, or a thumbs up, or whatever their system is, and some comments, some written words. Helps people find the show, pushes us up the charts, and as they say, helps us take over the world. For me, for Jesse, and for our special guest, Andros, we'll see you next time on Nintendo Dads. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Puffet